across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: fall in penalty points for drivers caught on the phone, Miliband rejects SNP offer, and anger over Hertfordshire school places.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. A Freedom of Information request to all forces has revealed a fall of nearly 25% last year, with more people being offered an awareness course. More from Jim Taylor.
Both the Transport Secretary Patrick McLaughlin and the head of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe, have floated the idea of doubling the number of penalty points given for driving while using a mobile, from 3 up to 6. Research suggests the offence is as common now as it was 6 years ago. Fewer calls are being made, but more texting and checking on social media is taking place. These new figures, though, suggest that, in fact, fewer penalty points are being handed out. Instead, tens of thousands of offenders are being offered the chance to pay for and attend an awareness course, similar to those offered for speeding.
Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition to stop the Conservatives returning to power. The clash came during last night's televised election debate, featuring 5 opposition leaders. Paul Baines is a political analyst from Cranfield University.
Overall, if you had to pick a winner, then probably the winner, I think, would be Labour, because they're the only real possibility against the Conservatives, and they got airtime and the Conservatives didn't.
A man was airlifted to hospital after a crash which closed the M1 in Hertfordshire last night. The motorway was closed southbound between junctions 9 and 8 from around 6:30. Later, the M1 was closed northbound between Milton Keynes and Northampton after a car went down an embankment at around 11:30. 2 people had to be freed by fire crews. Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice, and over 800 were not given any of the 3 primary schools they listed. Hertfordshire's Director of Education, Andrew Simmons, has described the process as a significant challenge. Candace Monk didn't get a place for her daughter at any of the schools she applied for.
I'm angry. I don't see what the point of the system is, because they've basically just put me wherever they wanted to, and the school that I'm in it's not a huge travelling distance, but in traffic in the morning, you're still talking 45 minutes in a car. So it's gutting. It's absolutely gutting.
A stash of stolen catalytic converters has been found under a bush in Dunstable. Community support officers found 16 hidden in Watling Street. Bedfordshire Police say 72 have been stolen in the Dunstable area over the past 4 months. In sport, England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. And practice starts at midday our time for Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, with Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton looking to follow up last weekend's win in China. The weather, a mix of cloud and sunny spells, the chance of a light shower this afternoon, a maximum temperature 13 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Can't sex sometimes just be about bish bash bosh, let's get on with the grouting?
That's one way of looking at it. Thanks to Kelly Betts for pulling that off. What have I said? And thanks to a listener for bringing that to my attention. Busy show this morning. Penalty points, a great big hole, an 80-year-old strong man, and Catherine's dressed like she's going to a dance in the 1950s.
A hop, indeed.
If you want to take part, well, you can't.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is what I want to do. This is why I'm going to play a brilliant song in a minute. David Cassidy, The Partridge Family. It's an epic song, right? But this is what I want to do. This first hour is something very, very special that only a few people are aware of, OK? Mm-hmm. I don't know what to call it. Someone called it the Magic Hour. I quite like that, although people might think it means we're like Magic the radio station. Yeah. I like the Lost Hour. Listen, this hour, guys, technically it's mine, but metaphorically it's yours. What's that buzz? Is that this again?
It's yours buzzing.
The Forgotten Hour.
Huh?
The Forgotten Hour.
OK, so that's an example of a bad suggestion.
The Secret Hour.
OK, she's going to keep doing this, isn't she? OK.
Hour.
There we go. So I've stopped that now by actually turning her microphone off. That's censorship. I've just censored Kelly Betts. Is she still doing them?
Hour.
She's going on. Okay. So what I want this hour, because there's not many people listening. I've seen the figures. It's literally about 8 people listening, and the people say, "Oh yeah, I listen again." I've included you in those figures. So I want the listeners to come up with a title for this hour, and also in this hour from now on, I want us to do a phone-in topic and a texting topic that we only do in this hour.
And we never refer to it again.
Yeah, and at 7 o'clock, boom, it stops, and we never mention it again. And if people call in and text about that, well, that's just tough.
We don't know what you're talking about.
We don't know what you're talking about. So today, I want to know everything. In fact, we can all come up with a topic.
Can we call it nightclub?
Oh, for crying out loud!
It works on 2 levels.
What is this?
It's virtually the night.
That was the idea that was rejected before they came up with the Hitman and Her.
Was it?
I don't know.
They should have called it Old Man in a Disco.
My topic for this hour that we don't know the name for it yet is what do you know about Moldova? What do you know about Moldova? What do you know about Moldova? I've forgotten her name. I keep on Kerry. Kenny. What do you know about Moldova?
That it would fit really nicely into that song. There were 10 in the bed and the little...
Hey, Moldova.
Moldova.
You know why I'm talking about Moldova?
Why?
Oh, this is brilliant.
Tell me.
Britain, we've got a traitor in our midst. We haven't anymore. He's Moldovan.
Who?
Britain's, the world's #1 Taekwondo expert is British. Was British. He's now gone to Moldova. The British Taekwondo Association wouldn't let him fight karate style in the 2012 Olympics. They wouldn't let him fight. And so he's gone, do you know what? I'm going to take Moldovan citizenship and go and fight for them. So in 2016 Brazilian Olympic, he's going to be fighting for Moldova, not for us. He's the world's #1. We've let him escape.
Just because we wouldn't let him fight?
Just because we wouldn't let him fight. I don't know anything about Moldova. So, you come up with one, Catherine, you can come up with one as well, Kelly. I'd like to know your things about Moldova, please. Graham's called in. What do you know about Moldova, Graham?
I know it was a former republic state. That's all I know.
There we go. We've got our first fact. It's a former republic state. That's wonderful. What have you got for us, Graham? Why are you ticking? You're not a bomb, are you? Is this a bomb threat?
No. No, it's the indicator.
Your indicators. OK, thank you. What would you like to say, Gray?
I think Kelly's idea was good. Hour.
OK, thanks for calling, Gray. Unbelievable.
I feel the sun you'll be free. Yeah, you gave your love to me, and I remember perfectly, high above all time and space, and I remember summer days when you gave your love to me, and I remember perfectly, high above all time and space, and I remember summer days when you gave your love to me, and I remember perfectly, high above all time and space, and I remember summer.
Yes, Simon, what would you like to say?
I would like to make a suggestion for the name of the first hour's chit-chat.
Oh, let's be having it, Si. What you got?
I've got it based on the BBC 3CR. Why don't you call it, like, for the Ollie Martins theme? He loves that word. 3 colleagues ragging.
I like that. I kind of like a little ragging around. I think that might be that might be something. I've lost it. I've got to tidy my clips up. Where's my clip of Ollie? Oh, here we go.
Ragging around
with Iain, Catherine, and Kelly. Oh,
exactly.
Simon, listen. Thank you for that. Let's put that on the list. Let's put
ragging around.
We'll do it in a second because we've got to do this news. But we're going to do it now. We're going to clear the whiteboard of everything. We're just going to put down suggestions for the title of this hour between 6 and 7. Huh?
Rubber.
Where's the rubber? Just use your arm, mate.
Oh, no.
Do it in a minute. We got to do a news story, actually, I've just remembered. Oh, I do like that, though.
Ragging around.
With Iain, Catherine and Kelly.
Ragging around.
What are you doing between 6 and 7? Oh, we're just...
Ragging around.
Oh, I like it. That's a good one, Simon. Thank you, mate. I like it because it shows he's been paying attention.
Yeah.
Hey, we had this fella get in touch with you yesterday.
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
We did. I was delighted. Apparently he's called Rob.
Oh, you know... Oh, I've just had an idea that's so sexual. What we're going to do... We're going to do a live show where we're going to get all of these people to come on. We go, ladies and gentlemen, it's Rob. And Rob just comes up to the microphone. He just stands there. There's a huge round of applause. Rob comes up to the microphone and he goes...
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
Ah! He walks off. Next one comes on. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the former PCC of... where is he? Bedfordshire.
The current
pitch. So I do apologise. It's Mr. Ollie Martins.
Ragging around.
Hey! It's going to be awesome. We've got to do this story, otherwise I'll get told off. But my mind is distracted. Hey, here's something, guys. Here's some facts and numbers. There's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers getting caught using a mobile phone at the wheel. You pick us a winner?
No, I've got a really runny nose. Go on.
Figure show last year 73,000 fixed penalty notices were issued in England and Wales. That's down almost 25% on the previous year. Catherine's been crunching the stats between her thighs. What's this fall being put down to, Catherine, please?
Well, this decrease is being put down to more drivers attending speed awareness courses similar to those offered for speeding, right? This is what the police say. The suspicion is that fewer people are being caught.
Yeah, they had a little blitz and then they stopped.
There's a course being used by police forces across England to re-educate people caught on their mobiles. It's got a catchy name. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, go on.
What's Driving Us?
Hey, what's driving us?
When it launched in 2012, 12,000 people went on it. Last year, it leapt up to just under 100,000.
How many deaths are caused by drivers using mobile phones behind the wheel?
In 2013, for example, the use of the mobile at the wheel was a factor in 22 fatal accidents recorded and proven. And that's likely to be under-reporting of the true figure because you just can't tell in some cases. More than 500,000 motorists used their mobile phones whilst driving last year that we know of. Paul Newman is founder of the campaign group Hands Off. He is the brother of someone who was killed by a driver who was using his mobile.
It's destroyed our family. It's devastated us, losing a beautiful sister because of somebody who used a mobile phone. You don't get over something like that. It affects you when you lose somebody.
Well, it's a very sad situation, of course. The law surrounding the law using a mobile phone behind the wheel, it's illegal, isn't it?
Yes,
Basically?
it's been illegal to drive in the UK whilst using a handheld mobile phone since December 2003, when drivers could be fined £30. Previous to this, legislation was only that a motorist would face prosecution for using a mobile phone if they were charged with failing to keep control of the car whilst using it. Now, from February 2007, the fine doubled to £60, and using a handheld mobile phone behind the wheel became an endorsable offence. You can get points for it, with 3 penalty points added to the offender's licence. In August 2013, the department increased the initial fine drivers received for getting caught using their phone from £60 to £100. And then in July last year, Transport Secretary Patrick McLaughlin said he wanted to double the points penalty for mobile phone use.
I often see people using what is, I believe, called cradles. Yeah. You can buy them for like $6.99 in petrol stations. You stick to your dashboard and you put your phone on it. They're okay, are they?
I had one of those until pretty recently. Drivers can use a hand-free mobile phone as long as it has a cradle attached to your dashboard and can be operated remotely. But if you're stopped for driving in a poor or careless manner and the police discover that you're using a hands-free mobile phone, you could still be prosecuted for not having proper control of your vehicle. The penalty for which is the same as for using a handheld phone while driving, a £60 fine and 3 penalty points. Also, if you are in a genuine emergency situation and it would be unsafe for you to stop, there is an exemption in place that allows motorists to call the emergency services on 999 or 112 while driving.
What's 112?
I have no idea.
Is 112 an actual... Well, obviously it's an actual number. It's 112.
I know about 101.
Guys?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There was delays of up to 45 minutes on the trains this morning because of a signal failure at Wembley Central. It's affecting London Midland services between London Euston and Tring and between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. On the motorways, it's not looking too bad at the moment. It's quite clear on the M25 and the A1M's moving fine. In Milton Keynes on Standing Way, there's roadworks around the Kingston roundabout, which could cause some delays later on this morning. And it could be busy in High Wycombe through the roadworks on Marlow Hill that are just outside the leisure centre. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Turns out 112 is an emergency number you can dial from your telephone for free. Who knew that? I didn't. 6:17. It is Friday, the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition and then to pop out for KFC. And nearly 1 in 5 children have missed out on their first choice of primary school in Hertfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Friday, June the 5th is the first ever BBC Music Day, aiming to bring people together across the UK through their love of music. As part of the day, we're searching for local unsung heroes. Do you know someone who's giving a big musical contribution to their community? From supporting young musicians to leading a choir, anyone who's making a lasting difference in your area through music could be one of the 5 heroes chosen to receive a VIP invite to a major BBC music event. Nominations for the...
So I'm so sorry. Kelly spoke to me. Not blaming you at all, Kelly.
Sorry.
No. You spoke. I was trying to queue up a record. I'm looking at where we're going next. I've seen that we've got Percy Sledge on the computer and we're not playing that because we're not playing songs on the computer. I see we've got Justin coming up next. And then Kelly spoke to me, and so my reaction was to press stop. Because my brain was going, there is way too much information going on, boy. You've just got to stop it. What were you saying, Kelly?
I actually saw you put the record on and I thought, I'll wait until he's done that and then I'll speak to him.
It turns out, so I had record, I had Justin queued up there, I had Percy Sledge, and I had the story. So the 4 things. It means that the 5th thing was the straw that broke my camel's back.
I'm so sorry.
What was the 5th thing, Kelly?
I learnt about 112 yesterday on a speeding awareness course.
Speeding awareness course.
Yes. And do you know what else I learnt yesterday?
Yeah, go on, mate.
I'll tell you.
Go on.
You know when you're driving along the motorway?
Yeah.
And you have to pull over on the hard shoulder
Yes.
for whatever reason. You're supposed to park slightly diagonal.
Well, do you know what? I have noticed that that's what the coppers do.
Yeah.
When,
I've never seen anybody do it.
Coppers do it all the time.
Nose in or nose out?
Nose in.
Nose out, away from the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say nose in because you're nosing into the barrier.
Well, I would say nose out, but you're right, Just.
Hello, boss.
Nose in or out?
Nose out for me, I think.
Thanks very much. Justin Dealey!
Geezer.
Geezer.
The hairy hour.
Oh, we've got to put it on the board, Catherine, but I
don't like it.
No, I know, and I don't want to look at it, but you're going to have to put it on the board. We are, for those who've just switched in, this first hour is a very, very special hour. We are looking for we're making a secret little club, and you're not supposed to do that in radio. You're supposed to be inclusive. Well, we're going to be exclusive. I might even get membership cards printed up. We were looking for a title for the first hour, and we're going to do topics that we only do in the first hour. They don't get carried over. Mine is... or you could do one as well if you want, Justin. And Catherine, we're waiting for yours and yours, Kelly. Mine is, what do we know about Moldova? After the world's #1 Taekwondo champion was British, the Brits wouldn't let him fight. So he's gone to Moldova. He's going to be fighting for Moldova. Good for him. And the British Taekwondo Association were on the news last night going, oh, it's a real shame. I don't know why. He wouldn't do it. He did it because you guys wouldn't let him fight.
Well, from what I hear, the streets in Moldova are very clean. Stick that one down.
Yeah. Oh, right, they got clean streets.
Apparently so.
Oh, OK, so it's a former republic state and it's got clean streets.
Yes.
Beautiful. Catherine, have you got a little thing you want to throw out?
Legs in or legs out? People are confused at the moment because we are British and the sun has been out and it's been quite warm.
Yep.
Now, yesterday I saw a woman like me wearing black tights.
Very few women like you, Catherine.
Wearing black tights and kind of buttoned up. And then she was walking next to a woman wearing shorts.
What the?
I also saw a man wearing shorts on the bottom, where you're supposed to put them, and a fleece on top. We're all confused. So the question I'm asking is, legs out or legs in?
Oh, legs in.
No, legs out. Come on.
No,
enjoy
I'm uncomfortable with my legs out because I am very, 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 very white. And, I used to get called milk bottle legs at school.
I've never seen you wear shorts, Dealey.
I wear shorts quite a bit, yeah, just not for you.
OK. You got anything you want to throw into the mix?
You said earlier on about phone-ins.
Yeah.
Well, our next story this morning is about this giant hole in Leeson.
This is the hole in... This is amazing.
Yep.
The hole is it's not just any old hole. It's a huge kind of well that opened up when his little girl was jumping up and down in the back garden.
Absolutely. So my phone-in for you, and I put this on Twitter yesterday, and it went down an absolute storm.
Go on, fella, what you got?
OK, so we've got a 20-foot, I would say, and we have got high-tech measuring measuring equipment here this morning to deal with this, to get the proper figures. So a 20-foot well/hole here in Leavesden.
Yes.
My phone in for you is,
Yes.
this hole's had a big impact on me.
Yes.
Which hole has taken your breath away? Which hole...
What?
Which hole has taken your breath away?
You want to do that as a phone-in?
Mate, I put this on Twitter yesterday and it was flying. For example, Led Zeppelin, Whole Lot of Love. Somebody said to me, Luton Town Football Club. That's my favourite hole.
All right. What did Scott suggest?
He suggested something which I can't say on the radio.
Dennis, what's your favourite hole?
Oh no! Please don't come into that, please. My favourite hole is you can't pronounce it on with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. All right, I'm not keen, but we'll put it out there.
Yeah, I think it'll work.
All right, okay. What's your favourite hole? 08459. I tell you what we'll do. We'll carry that one throughout the whole morning, not just for the first hour. How's about that?
Oh.
And we'll prove to you, Justin, that you really haven't got a clue how to do phone-in radio.
Oh right.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, you're welcome. We'll speak again at 9 about it, and you can apologise. Now, this hole. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm in Comet Way at the moment in Leavesden, in Hertfordshire. This happened on Good Friday, hopefully. Excuse the pun, but we are going to be getting to the bottom of this today. Various guests coming on your
Good
programme.
Friday, a holy day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, good one. Thanks, Stephen Kempster, he lives in this block of flats here. He's lived here for 13 years, 12 flats. His 4-year-old child was playing on the grass in the communal area, which then suddenly disappeared. Take a listen to this.
Firstly, it was a neighbour's little girl running up and down the grass. And it was just bouncy, so they thought it was fun to run past. She went to the shops with her mum, and my little girl decided to do the same thing, but instead of running, she started to bounce just where it was. I see the ground start sinking further and further down, and I thought, it doesn't look good. So I moved my little girl out of the way and my little boy. I decided to have a jump, which I wouldn't recommend, and as I jumped, my foot went straight through it. At first, we thought we just found a rabbit hole or something silly like that. So I tried sticking my arm down, I lifted the flap of grass that my foot went through over, and I thought, that's not good, I cannot see the bottom of this. Yeah. So I lifted it a bit further and stuck my arm in, it went right to my shoulder. My boy made a joke about it, thought he found the Goonies hole.
Yeah. Well, it does look like something out of the Goonies. You're half expecting Chunk to come up there and say,
hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Which would be quite funny.
You're heading off to the hole again today, Justin, because the residents don't know who owns the hole.
No, and this is a big thing. Eric Gatson, he's the MD of WE Black Limited. They're the freeholders of the sites. He's going to be live on the programme later.
Okay.
I'm here at the moment, and still this hole is covered up. And the pictures on Facebook don't do it justice. The hole is covered up by plywood and deck chairs, which the residents have used to keep this area safe. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Okay. The big wake-off?
The big wake-off.
Been suggested?
Oh, that's a good one, actually. I quite like that.
It's a bit like Waco, though, and I don't really...
We could call it The Hole.
Sorry?
The Hole.
What, the show?
Down the Hole
The
with
show?
Iain Lee.
Oh, from the terrible show. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, boss.
Dennis.
Good morning.
What's your favourite hole? Oh, no, we've done that. What would you like to call the first hour?
Sound off.
Sorry?
Sound off.
Why?
Well, then you shut you all up.
Oh, how rude. How rude.
No, it's sound. Let people sound off on there.
Oh, gosh, I've been sent a horrible picture. Oh, gosh. Get this, right, you know in Japan, you got toilets.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
You got toilets and they've got buttons, Dennis. They've got computerised robotic toilets that make flush noises if you're a lady to protect your modesty, that warm the seat, that fire a douche for a gentleman, that fire a douche for a lady, that do all kinds of things. Well, Darren's just sent me a picture of the edge of a thigh and a buttock and one of these Japanese remote control things, these control pads.
Because if you press the wrong button, you're going to get blowback.
Well, his question is, which button do I press? I'm going to suggest, press the green one, Darren. Anything else, Den?
Yes.
Thanks. Oh.
Those toilets are the same in Singapore, but when I was in the Andrew...
I took my wife to... where is Singapore? Asia. So you got to say Singapore, okay? I took my wife, not you, Dennis. I don't trust you with a feed line. No, we'll tell you. We'll try it with you, Dennis. Okay, so you say Singapore.
Yeah.
I took my wife to an Asian island. Is it an island?
If you want.
I took my wife to an Asian island to see Neil Diamond in concert. I knew I couldn't trust him.
Look at me.
I took my wife to an Asian island to see Neil Diamond in concert.
Singapore?
No, he's quite wealthy, actually.
Anyway.
What are you tutting for, mate?
Pressurising toilets. A quickie. When I was in the Navy, we were stationed somewhere where we were having people come on board and have a look round.
Yeah.
And we'd been having some trouble with the fire.
He's quite wealthy. He's Neil Diamond. He's one of the richest singers in the world.
They had a fire line in the thing. But if you had a fire...
Neil Diamond, Singapore?
Yeah. No, just let me finish, please. The power line where all the water is for fire brigade.
The joke is the Singapore... Did you take...
in Singapore. Yes, it's in Singapore.
Yeah, is the Singapore?
Yes.
Yeah?
They are very poor, yes.
OK, well, thanks for calling, Dennis.
Extremely clean.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays of up to 45 minutes on the trains this morning in and out of London Euston. It's because of a signal failure at Wembley Central, so it's affecting London Midland services between Tring and London Euston, and southern trains between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. On the motorways, the M11 northbound reports that there was a suitcase in the road at junction 8 for Bishop Stortford and Stansted, but we have heard that's now been removed, so it's not causing any delays. Inbound Green on the North Circular Road is starting to look slow between the Clock House interchange and New Southgate. And in Bushy, there's roadworks on the High Street at Melbourne Road, which could cause some delays this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition. The clash came during last night's televised election debate. A man was airlifted to hospital after a crash which closed the M1 in Hertfordshire last night. And Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice, and over 800 were not given any of the 3 primary schools they listed.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume later on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. Practice starts at midday our time for Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, with Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton looking to follow up last weekend's win in China. Hamilton is playing down the latest spat with teammate Nico Rosberg.
You know what? I never actually feel any friction. I never actually feel it. Obviously, it is there. It's very rarely coming from my side, so I don't know. I just kind of keep my head down and let them do what they want to do, and I just do my talking on the track.
Watford continue their Championship promotion challenge at home to Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. Tonight, second place Norwich hosts fourth place Middlesbrough. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons host Leyton Orient. Second place Preston, just 3 points ahead of the Dons, are at Port Vale tonight. In League Two tomorrow, third place Wickham travel to Wimbledon. Here's manager Gareth Ainsworth.
It's now getting back down to earth quickly. We've got 3 huge games coming up, starting with Wimbledon on Saturday, and picking up a couple of injuries wasn't great on Tuesday night, so we'll be getting those reassessed.
Stevenage are away to Accrington with Graham Westley's side looking to cement a playoff place.
I think our agenda is very straightforward. We aim to go into the playoffs with 6 straight wins. I think that will be a ferocious mental disadvantage for everybody else and a ferocious advantage for ourselves. We want to be the top of the form table at the time when the playoffs are played.
And Luton, who are outside the playoff places, host struggling Hartlepool. Manager John Still will be without striker Paul Benson after they lost the appeal against his midweek red card. And in Speedway, Rye House make the long trip to Plymouth in the League Cup tonight. They host Sheffield in the Premier League tomorrow evening. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Apologies to Simon and to indeed news fans. I think you're hijacked by a bit of this.
And
with a name for this hour. It's like a secret little club. So far, what have we got, Catherine?
Hour.
I'm not keen on the hour.
Ragging around.
I like ragging around. That was, of course, was suggested by... ragging around. Ollie Martin.
Ollie Murs. The hairy hour, which is Justin's.
That disgusts me.
I know. What about the power hour?
Well, that sounds a little bit perverse. There's no power involved. We had an email from Jill. I was only half listening to that ad you played because it was wordy. Interesting. But noticed it was music-based. Can you tell me what it was about in a nutshell? Because my son is a gifted pianist and it applies to him. I don't know, Jill, I wasn't listening either. It was too wordy for me. Snuffers is on the line. Good morning, Snuffers.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much indeed. We are putting out questions that will only be asked in this hour. I'm going to make it exclusive. I might get membership cards printed up. I don't know yet. Probably won't. And one of my questions has been, what do we know about Moldova?
Yes.
Well, what do you know about Moldova?
Moldova has some of the fastest broadband internet in the world.
Oh, you see? This is better than I thought it would be.
I don't know whether that's even true.
It's faster than about 150 countries, faster than the USA, faster than Norway.
Wow. How have Moldova got internet that's not only faster than the United States thereof, but also faster than Norway, you say?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like less people using it or something.
Oh, yes, was it? Yeah.
Another one. This is a bit of a sad one, but Moldova has, the capital city of Moldova has the largest Jewish cemetery in Europe.
Oh, flippin' heck. Well, OK, so what do we know about Moldova so far? Largest Jewish cemetery in Europe, did you say, Snuffers?
Yes, because it's one of the ones that people don't really know about because the Germans went through there before everyone could get out.
Right, OK. So they've got that. They've got the fastest broadband in the world.
Yeah. GDP.
Yeah, go on.
GDP is about, it hovers kind of between 12 and 13 billion.
How do you know all this stuff, Snuffers?
It's documentaries. I spend my life watching documentaries.
About Moldova.
He actually knows this stuff. He's not reading it from Wikipedia, guys. He knows it.
It's about 12 or 13 billion, and you put that in perspective,
Yeah.
that is about a fifth of what was spent on Black Friday last year.
Now,
worldwide.
Justin Dealey said that they've got very clean streets. True or false?
Probably.
Les German Snuffers with his...
Oh, ask him the other questions.
What
quick.
was the other one? Go on.
Legs out or legs in, Snuffers?
Sorry, what's that for?
Well,
what's that for?
Because of the weather. Are you got your shorts on, or are you wearing trousers? Is what I'm asking you.
I'm wearing a nice pair of blue jeans today, but I am off to a meeting. I know you wouldn't approve, Ian. Yeah, it's a bit of a casual meeting, but it's not casual enough that I could wear shorts.
No, well, you can wear jeans in meetings. I wear jeans in meetings all the time, but no, you can never wear... We got idiots that work here that think it's appropriate to wear shorts.
Oh.
Gary Floyd I'm talking about specifically.
And they're the same ones...
Kells likes it.
They're the same ones who'll be wearing flip-flops with him.
Oh, Gary Floyd... I don't know anybody else's name in the office.
Jeff does it.
Is there a Jeff upstairs?
Yeah, Jeff Doyle. Off of the
Jeff's
sport.
always wears shorts.
Don't know Jeff? No, works here, does he?
Yeah, well, work, loosely.
There's other men that work here. I don't know.
Luke, I bet he wears shorts.
Huh?
Yeah, Luke.
Is that the cleaner? The cleaning lady? The little lady that does the cleaning?
He is clean.
Okay. Snuffers?
Can I also just add something as well about that driving? You were talking about driving.
Flipping heck, Snuffers. You might as well host the show, mate. I'm going to go home.
He's unpacking his mind.
Yeah, go on, Snuffs.
I'm on the M25, coming round kind of towards the M40. I have just seen an absolute whopper. Someone driving along, 55, 60 miles an hour with a book.
Oh, whoa. No, reading a book while they're driving.
What was the book called?
I don't know.
How to drive.
How to drive safely.
How to avoid driving bans.
50 Shades thereof.
Yeah, they should throw a said book at him.
Snuffers, thank you very much indeed. Snuffers,
Hey.
thank you. Yeah, go, Kels.
What about my phone in?
What was it?
This time last night. What were you doing?
Oh, do you know what? That ain't bad, actually. This time last night, 6:40, I was asleep. I went to bed so early again. Because I am old. Yeah, I was in bed.
Kath?
I was running round after 4 children. I'm baking a cake.
Well, there you go. Where's everyone going?
I'm just going to write this down.
Okay, well, guys, I don't know where you're going because it's time to play... Yeah, I've got no one on my...
I'm listening.
Oh, flipping heck. I tell you what, let's do one of these.
I took my troubles down to Madame Ruth. You know that gypsy with the gold cap tooth? She's got a pad on 34th and Vine, selling little bottles of love potion number 9. I told her that I was a flop with chicks. I've been this way since 1956. She looked at my palm and she made a magic sign. She said, what you need is love potion number 9. She bent down and turned around and gave me a wink. She said, I'm gonna mix it up right here in the sink. It smelled like turpentine and looked like India ink. I held my nose, I closed my eyes.
I took a drink.
I didn't know it was a day or night. I started kissing everything in sight. But when I kissed the cop at 34th and Vine, he broke my little bottle of love potion number 9. Close my eyes.
I took a drink.
I didn't know it was a day or night. I started kissing everything in sight. I had so much fun that I'm going back again. I wonder what happened with love potion number 10. Love potion number 9.
If that's the impact that Love Potion number 9 had, one can only imagine what Love Potion number 10 would do. That's about Viagra, that song, isn't it?
Or something.
Or something like that. Right, so it's time for a little bit of... It's where I give you the headlines and you have to... I don't want to say it like that because it nearly does sound like a Scott Mills feature. Right, OK, so... start with a good... This is a good one. Okay, this is a good one. It's more about the picture than the story.
Right.
Alcopope. Alcopope. Kelly Betts, Alcopope.
Pope
Yeah.
loves the booze.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll stop you there. Is the Pope... He's not just loving the booze, he's got a pint on the go.
That's got quite a lot of head on it.
It's the Pope with a pint on the go. It's one of the best pictures ever. And he's loving it. 88 years old. He's having a pint. OK.
Well, he was moaning the other day about being stressed out. Maybe this is the answer.
OK, they've got two more, and I'm going to do these quite quickly because they're... well, they're all good ones. Hang on a second. This next one, I don't... Maybe I've missed something, because I don't get it.
Go on.
The headline is Waste of Space. Waste of Space.
How's waste spelt?
W-A-S-T-E.
Oh, so like rubbish waste.
Waste of space. Mm-hmm. You'll never, ever get it.
OK.
Catherine.
There's loads of extra space in space that no one's built on. Why not? That's the question.
Oh, I've kind of get it now. No, that's not it. Nick's on the line. Morning, Nick.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Do you want to play What's the Story Morning Glory?
I've no idea what that is.
What?
Have a guess, Nick. None of us have
No,
got an
he
idea.
doesn't know what the game is.
Oh, you just have to guess what the story is.
Guess what the story is from Waste... The headline, Waste of Space.
Go ahead, test me. Is it something about refuse dumps?
No, it's not. Kelly.
You know Space Raiders, the crisps?
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they found a load that were out of date and I don't know what to do with them.
Waste of space. Here we go. Labour councillor Simon Parks, 53, who claimed his mother was a 9-foot green alien, has quit in Whitby, North Yorks. I mean...
Has quit what?
Has quit in Whitby.
He's Whitby.
Nick, you've got Moldovan facts, have you? Go on.
Well, I don't know if you remember the film Red with Bruce Willis.
I do remember the film Red. Yes, I went to see that film, and moments after seeing that film, I was on my way to interview Bruce Willis, and I got suspended from the radio station I was working at because British Gas had knackered my boiler. So I remember that film very, very well. Yes.
Right at the very end.
Yeah.
Right at the very end, Bruce Willis and John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Invade Moldova.
They do what?
They invade Moldova.
Ladies and gentlemen, Moldova is invaded by Bruce Willis and John Malkovich. Thank you very much, Nick.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the the trains this morning, there are delays on services in and out of London Euston. So London Midland services between Tring and London Euston, and southern trains between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush have are all affected by a signalling problem at Wembley Central. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues building up now around junction 19 for Watford, and in Bounds Green on the North Circular Road is looking very busy between the Clock House interchange and New Southgate. In Bushey, there are other roadworks at the High Street which could cause delays at Melbourne Road this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. We've got one more What's the Story Morning Glory, and then, Catherine, we will actually look at the papers in a bit, so get ready.
I'm prepared.
I know, it's taken ages. 6:46, it's Friday the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition. And nearly 1 in 5 children have missed out on their first choice of primary school in Hertfordshire.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's going to feel a bit chillier today across the three counties than it felt yesterday. Afternoon temperatures will be slightly down, and we've got a lower dew point as well, which means cooler, drier air. We're going to see the wind increase as well in speed. It's an easterly wind, so it will feel chilly in the shade and, of course, in exposure to this easterly wind. We may well see a few drips and drabs of rain just fall from the thickness of the cloud this morning, but I think for the most part it does look like it's going to stay dry. If we do see any spots of rain, it's most likely to be over eastern areas of Hertfordshire, but most places dry. Some good spells of sunshine throughout the day as well, so it's not feeling too bad, and certainly in the sunshine it will feel quite warm. But we are seeing lower temperatures today than we saw yesterday, so highs of only probably 13 or 14 degrees, which is 57 in Fahrenheit. Now, as we head into this evening, there'll be some evening spells of sunshine around overnight tonight, a chilly night to come, but with the strength of the breeze it will help to keep any frost well at bay, so lows of 4 or 5 degrees. Over the weekend it's dry and settled. There'll be lots of sunshine around on Saturday, although it will turn quite blustery, I think, at times. Highs of around 13 or 14 degrees, so no great shakes there, but very pleasant in the sunshine, and it'll be a bit cloudier on Sunday. That's the forecast.
Call 08459 455 555.
Right, BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, last one of these. My levels are all to cock this morning, and the thing is, because that's really low. It don't matter. We'll just have to ride it, and you'll have to. So,
is that your chair?
Yes. Here's the headline: M-Way servicing. M-Way servicing. Catherine's drop in tone indicates she's got an idea of roughly what this is about. M-Way servicing. Let's start with you, Catherine. You think so? Cocky? Another clue.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that it's about people being romantic on the motorway.
Now, bearing in mind, I've just been told that we've got guests listening to us from America. Good morning, Andrea. So let's try and, really present a good, classy image of the BBC to our American cousins.
Well, it's not us doing it, it's the people who are doing it on the motorway.
M-Way servicing. So what are you saying it is?
Yeah, the people are doing it on the motorway.
She's right. I'll butt in there. Again, another... I'll butt in there. That's polite dogging. A motorway service station is shaming suspected doggers by beaming their pictures to large-screen TVs. I bet they love that, some of them.
How do you suspect someone's a dogger? I mean, it's either they are or they're not.
Customers. This is brilliant. Customers see live shots of nearby woodland and can spot when people stray into view. Woodland or woodland?
Woodland. I want to help you, woodland.
Woodland surrounding the Penligare services on the M4 near Swansea has become a hotspot for fans of outdoor sex.
Fans.
Footage of them, along with their car registration numbers, are now being handed to the police.
Oh, really?
Don't it make you want to puke? This is for Andrea, who's listening in America, for crying out loud.
I played a janitor, you played a monitor, then you played with older boys and prefects. What's the attraction in what they're doing? Hey, Carrie Ann, what's your game? Now can anybody play? Hey, Carrie Ann, what's your game? Now can anybody play?
I don't do requests, but Andrea's very nice. She's one of the kind of Monkeys fans that I know and communicate with very freely. She's delightful. And she's listening in America. And she just tweeted... Oh, hang on, that's a bit. I like that bit. I enjoyed the traffic report. It makes it seem pleasant to be stuck in the traffic in the UK. So nice and relaxing. Because our travel problems are so much more relaxing than those in the. Well, they are more relaxing because we tend not to have guns.
Yeah, tend.
Although those things are changing. What have you got in the papers,
This
Catherine?
poor woman didn't have a gun. She didn't have a stick of furniture.
This is Justin. We'll come to you in a second. This story is heartbreaking but funny.
In fact, can I have the Coldplay music?
I was going to combine
Press
the
10.
words funny and heartbreaking, but you do it yourselves.
A widow aged 93 came home from hospital to find her son had told a charity to take all her cherished possessions. Pamela Clothier lost furniture and clothing, and even her beloved dog Mitzi. When son Peter, 70, told Age UK, clear the bungalow. Mrs. Clothier, whose late husband Clyde was a Bomber Command hero, returned to find the property empty and Mitzi packed off to an animal sanctuary. She claimed her son told the charity she did not need her possessions because she was not coming home again.
I bet he got in such big trouble with his man.
It sounds like he's had a rollicking, and he's 70. Can you imagine being 70 and still getting a rocket under from your mum? Age UK has now given Mrs. Clothier £1,000 compensation.
I'll give her the furniture back.
And but they can't get the dog back. Aye. The retired businesswoman said...
No, of course she can. She just needs to go and whistle and slap her thighs.
Here, Mitzi! Here, Mitzi! The retired businesswoman said, my son Peter didn't think I was going to make it, so he just upped and tried to sell everything. I can't believe he could be so cruel. They left me with nothing.
Oh, dear.
Mr. Clothier, who the only picture they've got of this fella is from the 1980s, and they've put that in the caption, Peter Clothier in the 1980s. I mean, he's 70 now. I'm guessing he's not wearing the tinted spectacles anymore.
Oh, dearie me. Justin, can you believe?
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
He's arguing that he negotiated everything with his mother. I don't think she knows that.
No. Hey, Justin, say hello to... We've got Andrea listening from America.
Andrea, good morning to you. I've got... she mentioned travel news, didn't she?
Oh, I know what hang on, I know what Andrea needs.
Good morning, sir.
There we go.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Andrea's saying how much she enjoyed the travel news. That was the worst compliment I ever got once. I was presenting Saturday Breakfast. I met this guy on the street. He said, Justin, do you know what? I love your Saturday Breakfast show. I said, what do you enjoy about it so much? The travel reports are great, aren't they? I said, what? Yeah, it really helps me. Oh, thanks.
Jess, we're going to send you on a little mission in a minute. Catherine, you got another story you want to do?
Ringo Starr.
Oh, I love Ringo.
He tells Rolling Stone magazine of being brought up in the Dingle area of Liverpool by his mother. I always thought I had a great childhood. Then a therapist told me, well, actually, it sounds like you were abandoned and lived in a slum.
Oh, Ringo.
The Beatles, 74, is described as looking younger than his son and fellow drummer Zach, who's a quarter of a century his father's junior at 49, and adds that's probably because
It's a weird way of saying he's 25 years younger than him.
I know. Or that Ringo was 25 when he had his son. That probably is because Zach doesn't live on vegetables, juices and broiled potatoes, said Ringo.
Good for Ringo. I love Ringo.
Maybe there's a phone in that.
What?
Looking back, it was rubbish.
I've got to say, Justin, your phone in. What was it? What hole has impressed you much?
No, it wasn't that. No,
Awesome
it
holes.
was which hole has taken your breath away?
Wow.
I mean, really. I mean.
Well, a year ago, Luton Town got promoted. Kenilworth Road, not the greatest stadium in the world. The atmosphere was incredible. It took my breath away.
I tell you what, Justin, because
Where's the hole? Where's the hole?
Luton Town is the hole.
Oh.
The football club.
The ground. But it's a lovely hole. It's my favourite hole.
Okay, because I was going to do. Apparently, men are more likely to donate to charity when it's a pretty girl that asks. We knew that, didn't we?
Yeah,
That's why
we know that.
Not so much now, but the chuggers are hot girls and hot guys.
Charities and cults.
Oh, well, cults and religions, yes. The Jehovah's Witnesses, the last 3 years, they've really upped their game on the looks department.
No, the guy they sent round to me on the weekend was below par.
They send really hot girls round now, the JWs. Anyway, I was going to send you out on that, Just, but I would like to compound your humiliation.
Yes.
Take your holes to the street, please.
Seriously?
Yes, mate.
Okay.
Because you've got to learn, and you're not going to learn if I just keep saying. So you've got to go and meet the public.
People will have stories. I meet the public every day.
No, they won't. What hole has taken your breath away?
Yes.
And I want you to ask that question to people. Mm-hmm. OK?
Yeah, no worries.
He's such a plum. Speak to you later.
Take care.
Ta-ra. Kels, what hole has taken your breath away? Oh, I've asked the wrong person there, haven't I? Desperately trying to think of something she can say on the radio.
Courtney Love.
OK, yeah, no, I'll buy that. Wookie hole.
Mm-hmm. I looked down Vesuvius and there was a tree in there.
I don't
Didn't take my breath away, made me go, oh.
We know this thing, don't we? It's like big research. Oh, if there's a pretty girl, men compete to outdo each other when a pretty woman asks for a charitable donation, researchers have discovered. The tendency was revealed in a study of donation websites from last year's London Marathon. We know that. That's why chuggers, not so much now, because people that get desperate for any old, munter, male or female, to ask for your credit card details. But it would always be hot girls would approach the guys, and hot guys would approach the girls.
And they always say something like, what a beautiful smile. How are you today? Bang, they're in.
Never shake their hand, because you will never get your hand back.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, there are some problems this morning because of a signal failure at Wembley Central, so there are 45-minute delays on London Midland services between Tring and London Euston, and on Southern services between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 16 for the M40, and in Bounds Green on the North Circular Road, it's starting to look very busy between the Clock House interchange and New Southgate. In Buckingham, it's looking okay at the moment on the A413 London Road at the Total Roundabout, but there are some temporary traffic lights which could cause some delays. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. So the only one... Shh, don't tell anybody, guys. This club finishes. The club door closes in 32 seconds. The only one of those we're carrying over is just it. What was it?
Awesome holes.
What hole has taken your breath away? I mean... Phone up and berate him. 08459, you know the rest. The clubhouse is now closed.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headline: sharp fall in drivers getting points for using a mobile phone. Miliband rejects coalition with the SNP, and anger over Hertfordshire school places.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. A Freedom of Information request to all police forces has revealed a fall of nearly 25% last year, with more people being offered an awareness course. Jim Taylor has more.
Both the Transport Secretary Patrick McLaughlin and the head of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe, have floated the idea of doubling the number of penalty points given for driving while using a mobile, from 3 up to 6. Research suggests the offence is as common now as it was 6 years ago. Fewer calls are being made, but more texting and checking on social media is taking place. These new figures, though, suggest that, in fact, fewer penalty points are being handed out. Instead, tens of thousands of offenders are being offered the chance to pay for and attend an awareness course, similar to those offered for speeding.
Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition to stop the Conservatives returning to power. The clash came during last night's televised election debate featuring 5 opposition leaders. Paul Baines is a political analyst from Cranfield University.
Overall, if you had to pick a winner, then probably the winner, I think, would be Labour, because they're the only real possibility against the Conservatives, and they got airtime and the Conservatives didn't.
A man was airlifted to hospital after a crash which closed the M1 in Hertfordshire last night. The motorway was closed southbound between junctions 9 and 8 from around 6:30. Later, the M1 was closed northbound between Milton Keynes and Northampton after a car went down an embankment at about 11:30. 2 people had to be freed by fire crews. Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice, and over 800 were not given any of the 3 primary schools they listed. Hertfordshire's Director of Education, Andrew Simmons, has described the process as a significant challenge. Candace Monk didn't get a place for her daughter at any of the primary schools she applied for.
I'm angry. I don't see what the point of the system is, because they've basically just
put me wherever they wanted to. And the school that I'm in is not a huge travelling distance, but in traffic in the morning, you're still talking 45 minutes in a car. So it's gutting. It's absolutely gutting.
Network Rail say disruption to services between Milton Keynes and London will continue until around 10:30. A signalling problem is affecting Virgin, London Midland and Southern trains. In sport, England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. The weather, a mixture of cloud and sunny spells with a chance of a light shower this afternoon, a maximum temperature 13 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you want to join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you want to join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you want to join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, Pat? Pat?
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, Pat?
Well, I'm just puzzled, like I normally am sometimes.
Yes, well, yes, you're getting older, Pat.
I know.
It's confusing.
It's about the law on mobile phone use on the roads.
Yes.
Where is the law that says you have to give an awareness course to combat the fact that you don't want to really punish anyone on a mobile phone?
I don't understand the question.
Well,
What?
you've got a law on mobile phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use them or you get fined, penalised. And then someone comes out with, you go on an awareness course if you get caught.
Yeah.
Where's that law?
Well, Well, no, it's not a law. It's an option, isn't it? Yeah, the law is you can't do it, and then the punishments are you either get you have the choice of either going on a course or getting points. It's the same as speeding.
Oh no, it's the same thing. It's, you try and bring out an attempt to bring out a strong law.
Yeah.
And then you bring out something else that takes that law down to a weakness.
Well, no, it doesn't take the law down to a weakness because one of the arguments is that better education, I don't know if I necessarily buy this, but better education would limit the number of offences. Maybe people don't realise just quite how dangerous it is what they're doing.
They know the consequences of using a mobile phone.
No, they don't, Pat.
They do.
No, they don't. No one does. No one does. Most people do it. No one knows, really. Everyone's immortal in their own head.
Well, they know the consequences because they know the police on the roads are not going to be there to enforce it. That's why they don't care.
Pat, thank you very much indeed. We're talking about this because there has been a sharp fall in the number of drivers getting points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Figures show that last year 73,000 fixed penalties were issued, down almost 25% on the previous year. Joseph Cottrey-Monson is a specialist in motoring offences at the criminal defence firm Mary Monson Solicitors. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
So less penalty notices are being issued to drivers as more are attending awareness courses. Where do you heard Pat there was confused about punishment versus education. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, you've already given us kindly one of the arguments in favour of more education, and that's that probably most people don't realise when they're trotting along in their cars, drinking their coffee and thinking about God knows what and listening to Three Counties radio all at the same time, that in fact they're driving something that's a lethal weapon. And being distracted, of course, behind the wheel, it's a dangerous thing. People do need more education, whether that comes through TV adverts like we've had with drink driving, or whether it comes with an awareness course for people who've committed their first offence. Well, I think the key point is whether it's a deterrent or education, if it works to stop this type of offence happening, then it should happen. I have to say, though, there's probably an ulterior financial motive on the part of the government as far as making sure these are diverted to courses, because if you take something to court, it costs the state money, and of course, although there can be legal costs associated with that for the offender, the reality is if you divert somebody onto one of these courses, they're paying this expensive course all on their own. They still pay the fine, so you get that money too. So as a government, it's quite attractive. So perhaps that's part of the, in this time of austerity, when governments are trying in every way, and government departments in every way are trying to economise on costs, maybe that's part of the motivation too. I say, well, whatever works to reduce offending.
Is there any evidence that it's actually these courses are the thing that's reducing the number of penalty notices issued, or is it just that the police, they've kind of taken their eye off the ball a bit?
Well, I mean, as always with government, the ins and outs of the workings of the minds of civil servants are fairly inscrutable to Joe Public. So, for example, when this law came in the first place, when the driving while using a mobile phone or a handheld device came in the first place, it was actually brought in on the basis of no evidence as to the amount of accidents it was causing. There was a popular consensus that it was dangerous, but if you're asking me to speculate on the ins and outs of Whitehall's thought processes, then I'm sorry you've come to the wrong lawyer. I'm just not that well connected.
Joseph, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Joseph Cottrey from the criminal defence firm Mary Monson Solicitors. Hertfordshire-based motoring journalist Adam Rayner joins me now. Morning, Adam.
Good morning, sir.
These courses, where you get caught with your mobile phone, you go on a course. What do you reckon to them?
I was caught doing 2 or 3 miles an hour above the limit, and I am a chicken that knows a fox. A serving traffic officer told me he is utterly convinced they exist only to make money. The people who teach them, it's a wonderful place for the passive-aggressive to go and find an outlet. I nearly lost teeth grinding my molars trying not to respond to the little pokes. So anybody not want to be here?
I've done a speed awareness course, and boy, oh boy, those 4 hours really are torturous, but they're better than 3 points on your licence.
Yes, although I hope it was a slip of the tongue from your expert who said you pay the fine anyway. No. If you do a speed course, you pay for the course, but you don't pay a fine and get any points. That's the whole point, and why people put up with a passive-aggressive horror.
Do you not pay the fine as well? I can't remember. It was a while ago.
No, you pay for the course.
Right. Okay. Oh, I see.
You pay for
now,
the course.
Do you use a mobile phone in your car?
I've got a fine hands-free system, and when I had no hands-free system, I used the thing that came in the box with the flipping phone, which is plugs in the phone, goes in your ear. There's a single button. Every phone that ever got sold comes with it. There is no excuse. If you can afford to put fuel in your car, you can afford any number of technological solutions, and they go all the way through to ones you literally press a button and talk to. My car's got one built in, but the real issue is that people do need a prod to be told that they have to use a hands-free device, and in the meanwhile, the big issue, the biggest of all, is that the ROSPA people, the Royal Society of Prevention of Accidents, they will tell you that statistically, whether you're on a hands-free or just having a phone conversation, holding it to your head, like Dom Jolly with a big plastic one, it's actually as distracting. So keep it simple, stupid. Just, I'm here, I'm going to be home in a bit, love, or whatever.
But everyone does it. If people are in their cars now, you look to your left or to your right, or even look into your own hand, you will see someone using a mobile phone. Everyone does it.
Well, not everyone by any means. You see plenty of people rolling along, blithering ostentatiously, sometimes with a hands-free turned up, so you can even hear both sides of the conversation, but they don't.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. That's fun, isn't it?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But the simplest and cheapest solution is that if you're going to use the phone to actually talk to anybody, well, you do absolutely have to have a hands-free, but it mustn't be in your hand. Every single car accessories shop has got plastic doodahs that stick in various ways to put phones on a holder, and that's the key thing. I was thrilled. I thought I'd found the phone holder of my dreams, and it's one that sticks in the slot of the CD player, turning the CD player into a slightly redundant whatever, and yet...
So how do you play your CD? How are you going to play your Def Leppard?
The disc still play.
Good.
The real problem is, though, is that I think it's made for the proper aftermarket ones, because in the one in my car, I fitted it all carefully and accelerated away from picking up my wife from the office, and it promptly fell straight out. So I'm still looking, but that's the point. There is no excuse. The magical Bluetooth tech, you can buy a little cheap earpiece. If you can put fuel in your car, there is no excuse on any level ever. Every single phone comes with a piece of kit, and you can go from 2 bob all the way through to fabulously, ones that would come up with your face on a little picture if I were to phone you up on it.
Well, Adam, you're more than welcome. But final question, Adam, has the BBC put the call into you yet? Are you going to be replacing Clarkson? When's this happening? Or can you not announce it because you don't want death threats?
There was a terribly nice fellow on Radio 5 who once said to me, or of me, I should say, I do like having Adam on. It's like he does all the voices. It's like having the entire cast of EastEnders presenting Top Gear. I loved him for that.
You do the voices. Adam, listen, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Motoring journalist Adam Rayner, 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Whitchurch, the A413 at the High Street's been partially blocked by an accident around Church Headland Lane. The car's reported to have gone into a hedgerow, so it's partially blocking the road. In Bounds Green on the North Circular Road, it's very busy between the Clockhouse Interchange and New Southgate. And on the M25, it's slow anti-clockwise around junction 16 for the M40. On the trains, Southern and London Midland services are being affected by 45-minute delays because of a signal failure at Wembley Central. So it's affecting Southern services between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush, and also London Midland services between Tring and London Euston. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:15. It's Friday, the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader, Nicola Sturgeon, for their parties to go into coalition. And nearly 1 in 5 children have missed out on their first choice of primary school in Hertfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
After an impressive week for our teams,
seals the 3 points for Watford!
Tomorrow is all about pushing for promotion.
Ali with a shot! Oh my word, what a goal from Dele Alli!
We're with Watford, MK Dons, Luton and Stevenage.
The shot and it's drilled in by Tom Pett, left foot shot!
And you can choose which game you listen to.
A really bright start from Luton.
Three Counties Sport, tomorrow from 2, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sarah is in Dunstable. Good morning, Sarah.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. What have you got for us?
Yes, I'm very aware on the road now. I was speeding. In actual fact, I think I was only doing 36. I didn't know the camera was
in
there.
In a 20. Well, now, hang on. I was only doing 36, so you were speeding, and you didn't know the camera was there. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't
Well, okay, no,
naughty,
I hold my hands up to that. So I got the choice of going on a speed awareness course, which I went on, and
I wonder if anybody has ever turned down the option of the speed awareness course. Go, now, I'll take the points. I'll have the points, please.
Well, no, I'd already got 3 points on my licence.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it, Sarah.
I didn't want another 3.
No.
But on the way to the course, I went through. I thought I knew Luton very well, being born there, and I went through. Park Street and Church Street on the way to Stopsley, and then a few days later I got another 2 tickets because I was in an area just for buses and
no, Sarah.
taxis.
They're not points though, are they? They're fines as well.
They were fines, so I got 2 fines.
Okay.
They were 70 quid each, but I paid those within 14 days.
Okay.
And I hold my hands up to that because the picture showed my little red car.
Yes. I love those pictures because you go, this can't... Oh, no, that is actually me.
No, this is bad luck.
Yeah.
And then not so long ago...
It's not bad luck, Sarah, it's not bad luck.
No, it was bad luck.
No, it's not bad luck.
Okay. It was ignorance on my part. I didn't see the signs.
Yes, it's not bad
you have
luck.
to read so many signs.
Yeah, I know, because of course you do.
Yeah, but I haven't finished yet.
Go
and
on,
then I
blimey.
had to go and see a lady at 7 o'clock on the Sunday morning.
Here we go.
And I thought, oh, well, I'll park there. It wasn't that
Sarah.
far away from her house. And, yes, I parked on double yellow lines. And when I came out, I got a parking ticket. But the thing is, I see these cars parked on double yellow lines every night.
It doesn't matter. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I know, but I did it, you see. So now
Take
I
your
am
licence
very,
away.
very aware.
Take your licence. Right. Let's find out Sarah's address. Let's send the police to Dunstable. Let's confiscate her driving licence and her car keys. You're not allowed to drive anymore, Sarah.
I've been very good now. I'm very, very aware. I read every sign.
Well,
I
no,
take my
you spent
eyes
about
off the
500
road.
quid in 1 week.
Yes, I know. An awful lot of money, isn't it?
You silly sausage.
Yeah, so I'm very aware now.
Good. Okay. Well,
All right.
thank you for sharing that with us, Sarah. Dearie me. Justin, can you believe that? You're speaking about from one bad driver to another. What? Sir? Poor Sarah there. Take her licence away. Crush her car.
Crush
is
it.
my suggestion.
And film it as well.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
film it, please do. I love. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing a square of metal. And going, oh, there's a windscreen wiper and there's a door handle and it's a car. Can you pick those things up? Are they liftable?
I don't know.
Anyway, Justin is. Are you at the hole now?
I am,
Okay.
and nothing's changed.
Well, yesterday Justin went to investigate a big hole that appeared in the communal garden in Leeds, and it's fair to say it blew your freaking mind.
It did. Absolutely extraordinary. I've never seen anything like this. This is Comet Way in Leavesden in Hertfordshire. You can't see to the bottom of this hole. So here we have communal gardens. We have 12 flats here. And the grass in the back garden, it's a really well-kept area. So the children, they play in that area. Now, what happened on Good Friday, Stephen Kempster, one of the locals here, his child was playing in the communal garden and he noticed that his child was playing on this area of grass which looked like it was a bit bouncy.
Yeah.
So he got her away quickly. He went over to have a look and his foot went through the grass. He thought it was some form of rabbit hole. He took the grass away and he discovered this huge hole, a terrifying hole. It's pretty much a well, 20 foot. You can't see to the bottom unless you've got a light. I was here 2 days ago. I came back this morning. I was actually going to try and record just how wide and how deep this well is, but looking at it this morning, I'm not going to chance it because again it's covered up by the locals.
Oh, you
They've been
bottled it?
used. No, well, I have bottled it. Yeah,
You bottled it again.
but I don't want to remove it because the locals have...
Yeah, sorry, Justin.
You finished?
Yeah.
The locals have used plywood and deck chairs to cover the area. So the kids, they can't play in the back garden.
Barry Big Watsits this morning. Right, geez. What I'm going to do, geez, is I'm going to get a bit of. I'm going to chuck a coin down there. I'm going to chuck a spoon down there.
I'm going to get down there myself.
I'm going to get down there. I've got a tape measure. I'm going to get that down there. Well,
It's not safe.
You want the sound of something going down there, don't you, geez?
It's not safe.
I want the sound of a chicken going down the hole.
If I move this plywood and the deck chairs and somebody has an accident later on, it's just not safe enough.
All right, mate.
It's not safe enough. So
All right,
the situation hasn't changed. The children, they can't use the garden here. And, of course, the residents are thinking, well, if there's a hole there, could there be other holes? Quite simply, the residents want something done about this.
This is what we do. If you're too chicken to go down that, or even have a look at the hole, that's fine, Jess. I understand it. Everyone's
Scary, isn't it, a hole?
Holes are scary, of course. Everyone's got their fears, and yours is of life. Could you do me a favour? Could you? This was found by a young child bouncing up and down on the ground, wasn't it? Could you bounce up and down all over the rest of the lawn?
You must be joking.
Oh, you won't even jump on grass
No chance.
now?
Please, to our listeners this morning,
I'm begging you.
Go and have a look on Facebook and Twitter. Have a look at the photographs. You know what I'm talking about. You can't see to the bottom of this. We don't know what's underneath it, of course. There could be more underneath.
Fearless roving reporter Justin Dealey.
How's that Vox going, Justin? When has a hole blown your mind?
It's going very well, thank you.
Yeah, how many voices you got on that so far?
We've got about 2 or 3 so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it worth broadcasting, or is it going to embarrass you?
No, it's very worth broadcasting.
Okay, Justin. Speak to you a bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. People living... well, the reason we're talking about these is because of this hole, of course, in the back garden. But there's a bit of confusion as to over who is responsible for this hole. Eric Gadsden is managing director of W.E. Black Limited, who are the freeholders of the site. It's a long time since I've been a freeholder of a property. Eric, who's responsible for the hole?
Well, essentially, it's the residence management company. What happens when we develop a block of flats, we sell off the individual flats in leases in the usual way.
Yeah.
And then you have the residual area, which is the staircase and common parts and the gardens and parking areas. And then what we have always done for 50 years is created what's called a lease of common parts, whereby each resident owns one share in a residence management company who own the common parts. And that means they're in total control of it, and it gets away from all this bad press you read about landlords who rip off tenants and so on, because the tenants run their own common parts. So, strictly speaking, all those grounds around the block are demised for 125 years to the to the group of residents as a whole. So, strictly speaking, they're in charge. They manage it day to day. They clean the common parts. They cut the grass.
So they're responsible if a mysterious hole appears in the ground?
Well, strictly speaking, yes, because they've got a 125-year lease on it.
Yeah.
Just as if you had a property and suddenly a thunderbolt hit the roof and the roof came in. But of course, it is insured, and I'm hoping that the risk is covered by insurance.
Is this hole not on the deeds?
No, it's not. I'm not absolutely sure what it is. I'm almost certain it's a swallow hole. And
what's a swallow hole? Because it's man-made, isn't it? It's brick. It's made.
It's brick, is it? Well, then, I wasn't quite clear whether it's brick or not.
Oh, from the picture... Now, listen, I've not been there, so, don't take my word as gospel. From the pictures I've seen, and I'm just getting the pictures up now, it looks like it's man-made. It doesn't look like it's a natural phenomenon.
Well, it's difficult to know when you see them, because a swallow hole can look fairly precisely engineered as well. It could be a well as well. It could be either.
Yeah, that's definitely. I've got it up. That's definitely made of brick. Yeah,
that's man-made. Surrounding it must be an old disused well on the side.
And that's not in the deeds. You would have thought that would have been.
No, it wouldn't. Wells don't show up in deeds. But no, I mean, if it's a well, then the only thing one can do is simply fill it up. But of course, you never know quite how deep these things are.
Oh, it's about 20 feet deep and about 4 foot wide.
Well, it can be a lot deeper, because of course, what you're looking down to 20 foot at is the top of what's fallen in.
Yeah.
You don't know whether that's bridging a further hole.
Can you offer the residents any help at all? Can you reach a compromise? Because these are families with kids, aren't they?
Oh no, I realise that. The minute we got back to work, immediately after the bank holiday, we notified the insurers. They've sent a loss adjuster down. The loss adjuster came, I think, on Wednesday.
Right, okay.
I'm just waiting to get a report.
How long does that take? Do you know, Eric?
I was half hoping I'd have the report this morning. I mean, it'd take 48 hours or something to get a report. Okay. But I checked the policy as well for them. I think it's covered under the report. Certainly subsidence, or if it had been a swallow hole's covered. I haven't checked on the well, but a swallow hole will be covered.
Eric, listen, can we talk to you next week when you get the thumbs up or down from the insurance company?
But it's with the insurers.
Okay.
What we also have is we have a specialist firm who act on behalf of the tenants. For a few pounds a year, we pay a premium to a firm called Lariga, who actually act on behalf of the tenants to make sure the loss adjusters and insurers do their bit. Okay. And they've been down to look at it with the loss adjusters. So hopefully we will see the benefit of that little bit of premium, and they will get a speedy result on it.
What a surprise for everybody, eh? Isn't it? Just go to show.
It's just a matter of how. It's not particularly difficult to solve. The problem is, if you try and fill it, you don't know how deep you're going to fill.
Yeah.
I mean, when this happened to me about 25 years ago, I poured two loads of concrete down the hole, and it went nowhere. And a consulting engineer rather chuckled and said we could go on doing that for eternity.
Could come out in China.
Yeah, well, exactly. And what you do, in fact, is it's very simple. You just put a reinforced concrete lid over the top, which is a simple
Eric,
task.
I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, and hopefully we'll speak next week. And let's keep our fingers crossed.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed, Eric Gadsden, Managing Director of W.E. Black Limited. Got any texts?
Yes.
What texts have we got?
We've got loads.
Let's give us a few, and then we'll have a few more a bit later.
Thanks to Eric for. Is he still there?
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
We have got texters here. Read the hole in Watford. Clue is in the street name. Comet Way, says Snuffles. Here we go. From Dr. Watts. When a motorbike was my primary form of transport, I used to see people updating their Facebook pages while driving up the A5 at 60 or 70 miles per hour. And people on their phones all the time. You could always tell because the car would be all over the road.
Yep, I've seen that.
We've got one here. Beryl says, I was on a bus. We had to stop suddenly because a man on a phone turned in front of us. This threw me across the bus, injuring me, says Beryl of Bletchley. And Tony says, my view on using a mobile phone whilst driving is it should be made legal. Too many people are doing it for it to be controlled, so I suggest if you have an accident whilst using a mobile phone, the punishment should be more severe. £5,000 for a minor bump. 5 years
for a minor what?
Bump. 5 years in prison for ab injury. What's
ab got to do with it?
I think it's an injury during an accident. And 15 years prison for a death whilst using the mobile whilst driving. So you see, you can use it, but the penalties will be more severe if you have an accident.
That'll learn them.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The A413, the High Street in Whitchurch, is reported to be blocked by an accident around Church Headland Lane because of a car that's gone into a hedgerow. On the A1 southbound, it's starting to look very slow from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. And in Bricket Wood, the North Orbital Road's very slow at the M25 Junction 21A roundabout. Having a look at the cameras on the M25, and it's quite busy anti-clockwise around Junction 16 for the M40. On the trains, Southern and London Midland services are affected by 45-minute delays because of a signal failure at Wembley Central, and also the 7:39 train from Milton Keynes Central to East Croydon is cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition. The clash came during last night's televised election debate. Network Rail say disruption to services between Milton Keynes and London will continue until 10:30. And Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. Practice starts at midday our time for Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, with Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton looking to follow up last weekend's win in China. Hamilton is playing down the latest spat with teammate Nico Rosberg.
You know what? I never actually feel any of the friction. I never actually feel it. Obviously, it is there. It's very rarely coming from my side, so I don't know. I just kind of keep my head down and let them do what they want to do, and I just do my talking on the track.
Watford continue their Championship promotion challenge at home to Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. Tonight, second place Norwich hosts fourth place Middlesbrough. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons host Leyton Orient. Second place Preston, who are just 3 points ahead of the Dons, are at Port Vale tonight. In League Two tomorrow, third placed Wickham travel to Wimbledon. Stevenage are away to Accrington, with Graham Westley's side looking to cement a playoff place.
I think our agenda is very straightforward. We aim to go into the playoffs with 6 straight wins. I think that will be a ferocious mental disadvantage for everybody else and a ferocious advantage for ourselves. We want to be the top of the form table at the time when the playoffs are played.
And Luton, who are outside the playoff places, host struggling Hartlepool. Manager John Still will be without striker Paul Benson after they lost the appeal against his midweek red card.
You know, let's hope that we can sort of get something from Saturday that can take us to the next game. We don't know that yet. Let's do that and see where we go. It might lead to an unbelievably exciting last game of the season, but until that comes, we don't know.
And in Speedway, Rye House make the long trip to Plymouth in the League Cup tonight. They host Sheffield in the Premier League tomorrow evening. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine, do you remember we used to do I can't even remember what it's called, the open door policy?
Yeah.
Where
Free for all Friday.
Free for all free open door policy between. Put your headphones on if you want to hear what this old woman has to say. And people would turn up between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, and they'd come in, and hang out. We stopped that 2 months ago?
Yeah, because people started not to come in.
Yeah. So we stopped it. The
open door was left open.
What are these two doing here? I don't know. It's a bit embarrassing.
I think they can hear you.
Oh. They turned up. And Kelly said, we've got 2 people for the open door policy. I went, I don't want to know. Send them away. And Kelly went, yeah, but one of them's only 9. I couldn't send a 9-year-old away with a flea in her ear. Good morning, Mia.
Morning.
Good morning, Mia's dad.
Good morning.
You smell nice, by the way, Dad.
Oh, thank you.
What are you wearing?
Saruti.
Oh, it's
he's
nice.
had a wash and everything.
Come a bit closer to the microphone, Mia. Now, Mia, let's tell us a little bit about yourself. You're 9 years old.
Yeah.
And you've been thrown out of school for fighting. Is that right?
No.
No? Then why are you not at school?
Because I'm on half term.
Oh, have you got one of those 3-week half terms?
Yeah.
That's outrageous, isn't it? But it sounds like you've been having a fun time. Tell Catherine where you just told me you've been.
Oh, we went to see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical, yesterday.
And I was going, which film? She goes, no, the show.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh my goodness.
Favourite bit?
Probably when Charlie and his family turn on the TV to see who's just won the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And it's going through all the children and introducing them. That's really funny.
Now, I was getting confused because I've not seen the film for a while, but my boys love it and the boys love the book. Who's the one that it goes all purple and inflates?
That is Violet Beauregard.
Yes. Violet, that's it. Okay. How do they do that in the stage show? Do they make her go big?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
Does she go purple?
No.
No, okay. She just goes big?
Yeah.
Maybe she's got like a bicycle pump up her dress or something and they...
Because her bum goes really big.
Wowzers.
And then her stomach goes really big. It's really funny.
Hey, how do they get rid of Veruca Salt? Because I know in the book it's squirrels and in the film she goes down the chute. Which one do they do on the show?
It's both because the squirrels sort of attack her and then she goes down the chute.
Yeah. Blimey. So it's fun, was it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Do you go to the theatre a lot?
Yes.
What kind of shows do you like to see? Is it musicals? Is it silly stuff?
Musicals.
Because my boys, when they were younger, you might remember this, Dad, with Mia. When they were younger, they didn't understand spontaneous rounds of applause. So if a round of applause started, because we all know that, when you see a song finishes or someone does something, something good or, powerful in a play, we all start going like this.
Yeah.
My boys didn't understand it. So as soon as a crowd started doing that, my boys would just burst into... I took them to see The Tiger Who Came to Tea, a family-friendly...
Oh, I've seen that.
It's good, that, isn't it? It's brilliant, and it's really silly. But every time people started applauding, they burst into tears. I don't know what's going on, Daddy, I don't understand it. So I'm getting a kind of vibe from you, Mia, that maybe when you're a little bit older, you want to be an actress.
No.
No! Lawyer.
A criminal barrister.
Oh. Hey! Oh! Tell me why.
Well, I like doing things about law.
Okay.
And I like dealing with things.
Okay, so if there are problems, you like kind of solving them and stuff. Okay, then.
I like bossing people around.
Oh. Is that true, Dad? Is she quite bossy?
I take that after my auntie.
Okay, well, in that case, if you don't mind...
Let me blow your mind.
I'm going to blow your mind. Okay, we're going to do one of the puzzles that we did on Justin Dealey yesterday. If Mia thinks she's so clever... if Mia thinks she's so clever...
Let's find out whether we need to be calling Mia in about 20 years' time when we're in a bit of trouble.
Now, you listen to the show, don't you, Mia?
Yeah.
That's why you're coming. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you. What your thoughts on Justin Dealey?
Sometimes a bit annoying.
Only sometimes? Really? Did you hear it yesterday when we were blowing his mind?
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, you might... Did you hear the one about the horse? Oh, I've just given the answer away. Ignore that. Did you hear the one about the cowboy riding in on Thursday?
No.
Okay, fine. We just on the edge.
Okay.
So
Didn't you just say the answer?
No.
No.
What are you talking about? Forget without. Mia, she's good. She's good. You wouldn't be up against her, would you, in a court of law? So a cowboy rides into town on Thursday, stays for 4 nights, leaves on Thursday. How is that possible?
Because he's got a horse.
Sorry?
Because he's got a horse.
But what's the horse called? Dad, no, look at Dad. Dad's actually kicking her under the table. He's kicking her under the table. I can see everything, Dad.
Can I? I can.
Cowboy rides into town on Thursday, stays 4 nights, leaves on Thursday. You've already got more of it than Justin Dealey did, so you're winning. How is that possible?
The horse is called Thursday.
Oh, she's brighter than Justin Dealey. No, we didn't blow Mia's mind. You're actually brighter than Justin Dealey. How does that make you feel? Why do you listen to this show, Mia? Because a lot of people think, and they're right in some cases, that BBC local radio is a bit boring, and it's mainly for old people like Dad. You're welcome. Why do you listen? Because you're an intelligent 9-year-old young lady. You've got your future. I'm envious of you being 9. Your future is ahead of you. You've got your head screwed on. Why do you listen to this nonsense?
Because it's funny. It's all the people that are coming on. It sounds really funny.
Do you mean some of the weird callers? There's some weird callers, aren't there?
Yeah.
Isn't it worrying that those people they've got the vote? I would quite happily take the vote of Dennis and Dave and all of those people and give it to Mia. Because you sound like you got your head screwed on.
Thank you.
She sounds like she's a handful sometimes, Dad. Bit argumentative.
Well, her and her mum are very similar.
I'm looking into the eyes of a very tired man.
I take off for you, Dad. I really do.
Okay.
I love hearing families argue. Well, Mia, the thing is, we don't do this feature anymore. So I actually have to kick you out of the studio. I have to kick you out of the studio. I don't know what she's laughing for. This is me being tough. I'm being tough and firm. I've got to kick you out of the studio. Why is she laughing at me? She's laughing. Hang on a second. Horace is on the line. Good morning, Horace.
Good morning, Ian. How are you?
I'm feeling good because I'm glad Mia's come in, and it's nice to meet her and her dad. It is nice to meet you both. I'm feeling bad, Horace, because I've literally got to kick. Not literally, but well, if they refuse to leave, I will. Why is she laughing? I've got to kick you out of the studio. I'm about to throw a 9-year-old out of a studio. Stop laughing! It's not funny, Mia.
Yes, it is.
It's not funny.
Yes, it is.
I've got to kick a 9-year-old out of the studio, Horace.
A very giggly 9-year-old.
And I feel bad about it.
By the way, Ian.
Yes, Horace.
Oh. The reason that delightful young lady Mia enjoys your programme so much, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. That's the same reason I listen to it.
Now, Horace, this is the thing. Yeah, this is the thing, though. Mia's 9. Horace, I'm going to ask the question. How old are you, mate?
69.
69. There is a 60-year age gap.
Actually, I'm nearly 10.
Oh, are you nearly 70, Horace?
I'm 70 in 2 weeks.
There we go.
So you're what we would call in the old days 69 3/4. Okay, so let's even off. We've got a 70-year-old and a 10-year-old. It's still a 60-year difference, Mia. We can't change that. When are you 10?
June.
What date?
27th.
Oh, I'm June the 9th. Oh, well, never mind. But then how do you explain, Horace, the fact that a 70-year-old and a 10-year-old are digging the same nonsense?
Because there's too much other nonsense on the telly, serious nonsense.
Yep. Well.
And we appreciate listening to good, wholesome nonsense.
Right, well, this is what we're going to do. This is what we should be doing on BBC Local Radio. We are having metaphorical hands across the water, hands across the airwaves. Mia, would you extend your right hand, please? Just put your hand out like this. No, like this. Horace, would you put your right hand out, please?
Yes, I've got
Shake hands, guys. Shake hands.
Horace. Nice to meet you, Mia.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you, Horace. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Ta-ta. There we go, you see? This is the thing that always confuses me, the fact that we've got a 10-year-old and we've got a 70-year-old and we've got older and younger people listening to this. I don't...
From what Horace said, it's just purely down to lack of choice.
It says there's nothing else on. Get out of my studio, Mia. Why is she laughing?
He's not joking.
This isn't even a joke now. This is real. She's come in for a feature we stopped doing 2 months ago. Get out of my studio. It's not a joke. It's not a
doing
joke.
A serious voice.
What? There's going to be an awkward bit when she realises it's not a joke, and there are going to be tears.
From you.
Yeah, but seriously, one thing. Get out of my studio now. Why is that funny? I don't even know why that's funny. Kelly, come in. Come in, Kelly. Kelly's going to manhandle you both. Stop laughing, Mia. You're taking my authority away from me by laughing. This is what we need to do next time we get a stroppy politician on, is just get Mia in to laugh at them. In fact, that's exactly what we need to do. The next time an MP or the head of the police comes in, Mia, we're going to get you in, and you're just going to laugh at their nonsense answers. Kelly, I need you to escort these two off the premises. No, it's not a joke now. Out. Get out. Out.
Oh, the laughing stopped.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Gone. Can't believe.
Is she all right?
She's still laughing like a lunatic. She's like that's the kind of laugh you can only get when people are being tickled. And there was no tickling going on.
No, I can testify to that. There were no hands.
Can I just say, what a delightful young lady, and what a nice dad bringing her in. You kind of get the impression that it's half term. They've run out of things to do. They're midway towards the end of week 3. I know what. Let's take her down to the radio station.
Do you know what it reminded me of? You know, National Lampoons, where he takes them to Wally World.
Yeah,
and it's closed.
And it's shut.
There was a moment there where they were almost being turned away.
But isn't that great though? Next time you get a politician on, or the head of a hospital, or a police, head of the police, that's come on with the "Good morning, Iain. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity for." Just get Mia on laughing at them.
Yeah,
that would totally destroy their argument. Don't tell her I said this, but wasn't she absolutely delightful?
She's brilliant.
She's got her head screwed on. They're doing well with that one.
I still don't know why they listen.
I don't get it. And I like that. We had a 10-year-old and a 70-year-old shaking hands across the airwaves.
Horace is still there.
Sorry? Horace?
Yes, I'm still there. I just remembered the real reason I actually phoned up.
Oh, what was the real reason you phoned up?
I'll tell you about the hole that takes my breath away.
Oh dear.
I'm glad she's gone. Yes, this is Justin's question. What hole has taken your breath away?
Well, ever since I've been a young child, like that young child you just had on, the hole in the middle of a polo mint. Are you still there, Ian?
I think so. I'm not sure. I think I may have fallen down the rabbit hole. The hole in the... And how has that taken your breath away?
Because it's just... My first wages when I was a paper boy, 14 and 6 a week I earned.
Yeah.
I bought a packet of polo mints and I've always... They're still my favourite mints after all these years.
Isn't that a nice story?
And also, but talking about... It's a pity Easter has just gone because I was telling everybody round about Easter, whatever you do, don't pour boiling hot water down a rabbit hole.
Why? That's the best way to cook a rabbit, isn't it?
Well, if you do, you get hot cross bunnies.
Ladies and gentlemen, Horace, I was about to say you are my favourite caller, and I have to retract that.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 southbound, it's very slow from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout, but on the High Street in Whitchurch, the E413 is now cleared again at Church Headland Lane after the accident earlier on. In Mill Hill on the A1 Watford Way, it's looking slow from the Apex corner towards the Mill Hill Circus, and also the M25 anti-clockwise looking quite busy between junctions 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. On the trains, there are still problems on Southern and London Midland services because of a signalling problem at Wembley Central that could cause cancellations and delays of up to 45 minutes through Wembley Central. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. If you've just tuned in, you missed Mia, 9-year-old, just rocking up saying, "Let me in, guys. I'm 9. I'm the future of the British legal system." We will put some of that in the podcast. Don't you fear. 7:46. It's Friday, the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader, Nicola Sturgeon, for their parties to go into coalition. And nearly 1 in 5 children have missed out on their first choice of primary school in Hertfordshire. Let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's going to feel a bit chillier today. Quite warm in the sunshine still, but quite cool in the shade. We've got lower dew point air, so cooler air, and we've also got that strengthening easterly wind as well. So if you're in exposure to that, it's going to feel really quite chilly, but nice in the sunshine. There'll be some good spells of sunshine around. We might just catch, over eastern areas of Hertfordshire in particular, a few spots of rain just from some cloud that's heading down from the north. So don't be too surprised if you see something wet fall out of the sky, but it will tend to be really very, very light and really quite few and far between those droplets as well. So for the most part, it is going to be a dry day. Most of us will see a dry day. Lots of fine weather around as well. Some good spells of sunshine, just variable amounts of cloud. And as I said, feeling a bit colder than yesterday. Afternoon highs today, 13 or 14 degrees, 57 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, now we've still got that easterly. It's going to help to keep any frost at bay. Lows of 4 or 5 degrees for the most part, but quite a cold night. And then into tomorrow, well, the weekend is looking dry and settled. High pressure dominating the weather at the moment, so it will also be dry into next week. But on Saturday, it's going to turn quite blustery for a time. There'll also be lots and lots of sunshine around, so a very usable weekend of weather. It's certainly not going to ruin your weekend at all, but it will feel quite cool at times and exposure to the wind and in the shade, but nice and warm in the sunshine. There'll be a bit more in the way of cloud though on Sunday. Temperatures at around 11 or 12 degrees. That's the forecast.
I forgot to say to me, I mean, I'm being slightly presumptuous here, but these kids these days, they like to do selfies, don't they?
And you're presuming she's still listening.
Well,
She's done her bit.
She's off to heart now. No, I'm a big fan of whatever Muppet is presenting this rubbish. Mia, if you want to pop back and have a picture taken, you're more than welcome to. I should have said that and I forgot to. Apologies.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
You right, girls?
Yes, are you?
Yeah, good. I'm you know, it does amaze me because people say, "Oh, the show's rubbish. Oh, the show's rubbish," and you know what? Yeah,
that's just us who says that.
I know. I wish you'd stop saying it to me while we're playing records and things. It breaks my heart. But that's made my day. I'm a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 70-year-old. I love it when he goes. He said, "Well, I'm 70 in 2 weeks." I love that thing. I'm 9 3/4. We've had a 10-year-old and a 70-year-old metaphorically shaking hands and both saying they like the show for the same reason. That's made my day.
That's lovely.
That's lovely, isn't it? I'm glad, Mia. If you want to pop in for a photo, you know, you're more than welcome to any time you want. Actually.
Although next time, of course, we ask anyone why they listen to the show, you've got to say because it's local and vocal.
Now, an 80-year-old Welling man has been pumping off like a demon for 2 hours a day in the gym. What?
Every day as well.
Yeah, he cannot stop. He's just there building up a sweat. Iain Miller is determined to defend his World Strongman title in America this year, just after we've had a 9-year-old in the studio as well. Catherine, you write this filth. He's an 80-year-old strongman. He's on the line. Morning, Iain.
Morning.
Nice to speak to you, Iain. Tell us a bit about yourself and when you became strong. Were you a weedy baby?
No. Well, heavens, according to my mother, I was nearly 12 pounds when I was born.
Good grief.
Yeah, exactly, I know.
It's like passing a bowling ball.
Yes, well, I'm basically from the Western Highlands and also lived in Glasgow before I came down to England when I joined the army in 1952.
Oh, so you've always been a big lad who can take care of himself, I'm taking it then?
Yes, basically right, yes.
So is the army where you got your thing about fitness from, or were you always into sort of gyms and stuff like that before?
No, it was always because when I lived in the Highlands, the only real sport you had was the men doing the Highland Games, and they showed me what to do when I was 12, and I got the bug, and I competed the first time when I was 19 in 1953, when I came home and leave from the army. But then in the army, you don't get a chance to do
Highland Games, so you just keep yourself very, very fit.
Ian, I've got to interrupt. I'm an Ian. I've got to call you out, mate. You're not Scottish.
Yes, I am.
You're
yes,
not Scottish, Ian. Spell your first name, please, sir.
Ian.
Spell it.
I-A-N.
That's not Scottish.
Well,
Where's the I? Where's the I-A-I-N? The correct way to spell it.
Well, it depends on what island you come from.
Oh. I've got a picture of you up on my screen. What are all those medals you're dangling from your arms?
Well, I don't know what photograph that is, but...
This is on your Twitter page.
Oh, it's the one that's been set up for him.
That was one of the World Championships in Dublin, in Dunboyne, outside Dublin. I do the normal hammer shot, discus, javelin, these sort of things as well.
Yeah.
So I've got 40 world records, and I've been world champion 43 times.
Hang on, sorry, you've got 40 world records?
Yes, that's right, yeah. And I've been world champion 43 times for the hammer shot, discus and javelin. But the Highland Games is the one that I really enjoy and do.
Do you do the caber?
Oh, very much so, yes.
How far?
You don't do it for distance, you do it for going over in like 12 o'clock. It's got to go over like a clock.
Well, how do you know who's won the toss then?
Well, whoever throws it the straightest.
Okay, so it's just straight toss.
Yeah, straight 12 o'clock, or you can have it 11, 1, 2, 3, and if it's 3 or 9, it's a no.
As it leaves your hands, as it leaves your arms, can you tell it's going to be a good one?
Yes, you can.
You know that it's going to go.
Yeah, you know it's going to go.
And I suppose when when it comes to the toss, that all that pumping off you've done must really help.
Oh, it does. They're not that heavy. They're only about 150 pounds weight.
Oh, really? Because I always thought they look so heavy.
No, it's the length of them. It's when you get.
It would be the length, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's at 16 or 21 feet. It's very difficult to balance and control the heavy weight.
Who knows really what 21 feet looks like? Now listen, there is a campaign, Ian, isn't there?
That's right.
To get what is it that you're trying to get to and why?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to St. Louis in Missouri, because that's where the World Championship for the Scottish Highland Games is.
What?
Next year.
Why is it? Hang on. Why is it not in Scotland?
Well, they had it in Scotland in 2014. It's a World Championship. It goes all over the world.
Right. Okay.
So, and because I became World Champion in 2014, I was invited to go and defend the title in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I said, fine, that's good, but being an amateur, you've got to pay all your own way, and it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
So a lovely young man called Jason Haynes from the University of Hertfordshire, he met me in the gym and said, could he help? And he set a fund up called Get Iain Miller to America.
And that's the Twitter feed as well. If you want to have a look at Get Iain to America, and
right, yeah.
it spells Ian wrong, but don't hold that against the guy. For goodness sakes.
So, Ian, who's the big competition when you get out there? Because I would think Highland Games, you stand a decent advantage, don't you?
Not really, because
there's not a round based on accent, for goodness sakes, Catherine.
Well, it's in his blood, it's in his genetics. These other guys don't stand a chance, do they?
Oh, good heavens! We do the Masters from the age of 40, and most of these guys are ex-world champions at something or other.
Oh, really?
And they're very, very big men. In fact, a group who came from Belgium to Inverness last year, there was 13 of them. The smallest was 6'4", and the largest was 6'11".
Oh, blimey!
They're big, big men. But of course, although you're strong, it's a technique you have to do most of the events.
Worst injury you sustained, Ian?
I broke my back in 1975 in the army.
Flipping it, that's pretty bad.
Well, it could have been better.
How did you do that?
A parachuting accident.
Another story.
You
just landed badly, did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And did you hear the snap?
No, you don't hear or feel anything. You all go numb.
Oh, yeah, blimey.
It was all right. The army believed in it.
It was all right. I broke my back. It was all right.
Yeah, well,
Tough
the
guy.
army attitude is, get up and do something. So they told me to take up karate exercises to stretch the back, and I did that. So it was good fun.
Well, you're 80, aren't you, Ian?
That's right. I'm 81 for the competition.
When are you 81? What date?
August.
Okay, so you're 80 and the 3/4.
Which date in August?
11th.
Oh, day before my birthday.
Ian, all the good people.
If people want to slip Ian a few quid, if you go on Twitter, Get Iain to America is the thing, or you can go GoFundMe.com/Iain to America. Ian, will you keep in touch and let us know how it goes?
I most certainly shall do.
I wish you the very best of luck.
Thanks ever so much for the help.
Hey, listen, it's a pleasure. Thanks for talking to us. But best of luck, mate.
Yeah, and I-A-N.
Yeah, but just spell it properly. I-A-I-N, for goodness sake.
What a nice fella.
Well, you say that. He's a chance of spelling his name like that. Apart from that, yes, he's delightful. Thank you, Ian.
There's another £12 in the papers, but now it looks like looks puny because Ian already did it, and I bet his mum didn't use gas and air.
Go on, big baby.
You would be hard-pushed to find a newborn who is anywhere near as big as this not-so-little bundle of joy. Well, we did. We just spoke to him. He's now 80. Equally impressive is that brave Danielle Davis gave birth to Harley, who weighed in an astonishing... Oh, he's not even 12... £11.15 without any pain-relieving drugs. She also endured the 8-hour labour... Oh, hang on a minute. OK, I'll give her some extra points for this. Despite a blood clot on the brain.
Hey!
She said the midwives couldn't believe how big he was. They said he was difficult to weigh because it was off their official charts. He was the talk of the hospital.
Oh. Well, everyone likes to think their babies are the talk of the hospital, but really...
She did it on gas and air.
Oh.
I bet Ian's mum did it with nothing.
Hey, we got an email from Derek about the Black Cat Roundabout.
Oh, yeah.
Have we decided we're doing that or are we not doing that? Let's listen to Ian's email.
We might do that. Let's have a listen to Ian.
The roadworks are now complete with the addition of traffic... Where is the Black Cat Roundabout for those people who don't know?
It's over... Am I thinking right? It's if you're driving towards Cambridge, so is it Roxton?
Why not? The roadworks are now complete with the addition of traffic lights and an extra feeder lane. What difference has it made? None. In fact, the tailbacks are worse than when the alterations were in progress. Well done, Bedfordshire Highway Department, for wasting people's time and a load of money. It looks very nice, but is of no benefit to motor vehicles. May the slow crawl towards the roundabout continue.
Oh, dear.
Well, you can't downplay a nice-looking roundabout, though. That's, important for if you're flying over it.
Well, if you're parked around it, yes, it's important, it's nice.
You've got 30 seconds.
OK, hungry Tory gets roasting. Other people eat too, but this one in particular
For
is
a full list of eaters, go to the internet.
A politician has come under fire for tucking into a cold roast dinner during a council meeting.
I feel sorry for this
Inappropriate eating. Johnny Bucknell, 58, was ordered by Camden Council Mayor Lazzaro Petrignoli to stop eating because it's banned in the chamber.
I would have said it was a soft G.
Petrignoli.
Yeah.
Bucknell, who represents Belsize, North London, said, I never knew there was a ban. There's nothing wrong with nibbling from a lunchbox if you're being discreet. Now, the other day, I had my car valeted, and the first person to sit in the passenger seat opened up his lunchbox and started eating a salad. Rude.
One of the workmen?
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was someone I knew a bit better.
Unbelievable.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 southbound, it is busy approaching the Black Cat roundabout from the St Neots Junction, Lyricuse. In Stevenage on Broad Hull Way, it's looking very slow on the speed sensors at Gunnells Wood Road. And in High Wycombe, it's also looking very busy there on the A40 London Road in both directions. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross to junction 16 for the M40. And on the trains, London Midland have delays between Tring and London Euston, and also Southern have delays between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Samantha. What hole, I can't believe I'm saying this, what hole has taken your breath away? Do call me now, won't you?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headline: sharp fall in penalty points for drivers using a mobile. Miliband rejects coalition with the SNP, and anger over school places in Hertfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. A Freedom of Information request to all police forces has revealed a fall of nearly 25% last year, with more people being offered an awareness course. Paul Newman is founder of the campaign group Hands Off. His sister was killed by a driver who was using a mobile.
It's destroyed our family. It's devastated us, losing a beautiful sister because of somebody who used a mobile phone. You don't get over something like that. You just don't think it's going to be you.
Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition to stop the Conservatives returning to power. The clash came during last night's televised election debate featuring 5 opposition leaders.
We have profound differences between us, David. That's why I'm not going to have a coalition with the SNP. So it's a no, I'm afraid.
I don't know what Ed Miliband is talking about. This election is about getting rid of the Tories. And Ed, whatever differences you have with me, surely they are as nothing to the differences both of us have with the Tories.
Network Rail says disruption to services between Milton Keynes and London will continue until at least 10:30 this morning. A signalling problem is affecting Virgin, London Midland and Southern trains. Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice. Over 800 were not given any of the 3 primary schools they listed. Hertfordshire's Director of Education, Andrew Simmons, has described the process as a significant challenge. Candace Monk didn't get a place for her daughter at any of the primary schools she applied for.
I'm angry. I don't see what the point of the system is, because they've basically just put me wherever they wanted to, and the school that I'm in is not a huge travelling distance, but in traffic in the morning you're still talking 45 minutes in a car. So it's gutting. It's absolutely gutting.
A man was airlifted to hospital after a crash which closed the M1 in Hertfordshire last night. The motorway was closed southbound between junctions 9 and 8 from around 6:30. Later, the M1 was closed northbound between Milton Keynes and Northampton after a car went down an embankment at about 11:30. 2 people had to be freed by fire crews. A stash of stolen catalytic converters has been found under a bush in Dunstable. Community support officers found 16 hidden in Watling Street. Bedfordshire police say 72 have been stolen in the Dunstable area over the past 4 months. In sport, England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. And practice starts at midday our time for Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, with Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton looking to follow up last weekend's win in China. The weather, a mix of cloud and sunny spells with the chance of a light shower this afternoon, a maximum temperature 13 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Gosh, what a first couple of hours you've had. The first hour, oh, it's top secret. I'm not telling you. Yeah, that's right. We're making the first hour an exclusive club. And we're not going to tell you what happened in the first hour between 6 and 7. You have to listen. And if you don't listen, tough. It was half good, though. Oh, it was half good. Second hour, Mia turned up for a feature that we stopped doing 2 months ago. So she came in and she was delightful, although she got hysterical when I actually booted her out of the studio. And we're asking, just to humiliate Justin Dealey, because it's his question, what hole has taken your breath away?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We got any texts on that?
I just had a message from upstairs. Mia and her dad are back to have their picture taken.
Hey, beautiful,
so
beautiful. If you can wait 10 minutes,
yeah, exactly.
We'll do it at 15:15. You come in and have your picture taken with great pleasure.
Magic. Big M says, I wouldn't worry too much about that hole. I'm too fat to fall down there.
This is the hole in someone's back garden.
Matt talking about people doing daft things whilst they're driving. We had earlier on a phone call from someone who'd seen someone reading a book.
Reading a book. I've seen people walking and reading books. What's that all about? No book is that good.
Well,
no.
No. Matt says the worst thing I've seen is a man typing on his iPad, balanced on his steering wheel, driving across lane 2 and 3 of the M1.
That's outrageous.
And you were asking for someone who's turned down the course in favour of the points.
Oh yes, anyone you get speeding offered, you get caught speeding. Nobody has ever turned down the course.
Pete in Stopfold has.
What?
He says I turned down the course in favour of 3 points on my licence. After factoring in the cost of time needed to go on the course, it was cheaper for me just to take the points. I had a clean licence anyway, and I don't pay for my car insurance, so it wouldn't affect that.
Tough guy.
It was for speeding in a 30 zone.
Okay.
Pete in Stopfold.
I love the way everyone gives the. I was only doing 36. Well, yeah, but you broke
the
law.
signs weren't there.
I got caught several times, and I'm waiting to see if I got caught again. My fault. You get angry. Oh, blooming cameras. Well, actually, no, blooming me for being an idiot. It's the same with
you're doing it. Don't
it's the same with parking tickets when they're legitimately handed out. This is why I don't get this 10-minute grace. Because you get back in time, or don't park on the double yellow lines, or don't park in the load. It's fine, isn't it? It's your fault.
You know if you've chanced it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose.
08459 455 555. There's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers getting caught using a mobile phone at the wheel. Figures show last year's 73,000 fixed penalty notices were issued in England and Wales. That's down almost 25% on the previous year. Joined now by Mark Turner, who's Chief Executive of the Bedfordshire-based Road Victims Trust. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ian. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Punishment... Oh, you're OK? There we go. That's it, we got you. Punishment versus education, where do you stand on that?
Where do I stand? I think education works pretty well, actually. I hear what you're saying about the speed awareness courses. I haven't been on one personally. The people that I do know that have been on them speak very, very highly of them because of how they make the driver feel, the education, the thought it brings to their driving thereafter. So I think you would probably find there is an evidence base that suggests that does work.
These figures for the fixed penalty notices for the mobile phone use, they're down. What do you put that to? Do you think it is the awareness course is actually having an impact, or do you think that maybe the police, they kind of had a bit of a blitz a couple of years ago and they've taken their eye off the ball a bit?
I don't think it's the police taking their off the ball. The police got loads and loads of other things that they have to do, and they have to try and prioritise. Really, really difficult job. What I do know is that if you only have to drive about on a daily basis to see how many people are actually using their phones while they're driving, it's absolutely shocking. Road Victims Trust, we know that across 3 counties every year, Beds, Herts and Cambs, 90 people will be killed. 90 people's lives will be lost. They're not all, of course, as a result of mobile phones, but there is a significant number and a growing number of collisions that are occurring because people are using their phones.
Why do people still do it, Mark, do you think?
Well, that's a really, really good question. Everybody wants to be kept in touch as soon as possible. We know what phones are like. We know how that has crept into use. And unfortunately, people get distracted. As soon as people's phones ring or pip that they've got a text, people feel that they have to pick it up for whatever reason. That's not just about youth, by the way. That's about all of us. Everybody seems to be kind of tapped into that. The advice I would have to give everybody is if they're driving their car, turn their phone off and do not use it at any stage that they're driving.
Well, yeah, I'm old enough to remember when, people would, before even answer phones were around, people would write notes for you on a little bit of paper. So, Steve called and he wants you to call him back when you can. But we want everything now, don't we?
Yes, I think we do, and there's a lot of advantages to that, I have to say, because if you took our phones off any of us, we would really, really struggle to exist for probably just a couple of hours, I suggest. But it's that driving. It's when people get into the car and behind the wheel, they have got no greater responsibility other than to drive safely. And they've got to turn the phones off and not use them.
Mark, do you know what happens at these awareness courses? Because I've been on the speed awareness, and they basically show you videos of car crashes, and they ask you questions about stopping distance and stuff. I don't know what they would show you or what they would do at the mobile phone course.
Yeah, sorry, and I haven't been on those, so they couldn't really comment. But I guess it would be around about the same education.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure what your experience was of that course, but the people I've been on around the speed awareness course speak very, very highly of it because of the diligence of the people putting the subject over and the fact that it does actually make them think about their actions and consequences. That's why I like the educational part to it.
Mark, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Keep on doing the good work.
Thank you, Ian. Cheers.
Cheers, Mark. Bye-bye. Mark Turner, Chief Executive of the Bedfordshire-based Road Victims Trust.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bigamy. Everyone's got it. Bigamy.
Oh, that fella.
Isn't it funny? All these bigamists, it shows we all have a look, or most of us have a look we go for, because his wives they're almost identical.
Except one apparently is better than the other.
Rat lied to wife number one. This is a great lie. But lies you've told your partners, please. Or lies you've told. Put that out there, because the reason he told wife number one that he couldn't spend all that time with her, I'm hiding because I'm in witness protection.
Wow. And she fell for that.
Yeah. A bigamist spent nights with... This is in The Sun. A bigamist spent nights with his secret second wife after telling his first he had to move into a safe house.
But have you seen what they were attempting to do while he was in this potential safe house?
No,
they
go
were
on.
trying for a baby. I would suggest trying for a baby involves being in the house. They were trying for their first child.
I'm not being... He looks like... I mean, both these women are fairly attractive.
Yeah.
They're good-looking women. He looks like a potato with hair on.
He must be funny.
In reality, he was with wife number 2, Philippa, who he'd wed after forging divorce papers. Bigamist Andrew O'Clee's fuming first wife tipped off police. Oh, look, do you know how she spotted him? After she spotted him on Facebook, as Jeremy Kyle would say. Why do people go on that rubbish? Spotted him on Facebook doing an ice bucket challenge with his secret second spouse. Trusting Michelle O'Clee had no idea her husband was cheating until she went online and saw he had been nominated to take on the Chili Dare, with his new mistress, Philippa. The nomination from O'Clee's brother John and baby nephew last August said Uncle Andrew and Auntie Philippa had to throw ice-cold water over their heads.
So hang on a minute, his brother knew?
This is weird, isn't it? Next line. Michelle, believed to be a pal of TV's Myleene Klass...
Oh.
Then watched a video of... I don't know, what's that got to do with anything?
Makes it more interesting, apparently.
Well, I'm surprised they've not put that on the front page, that bit. Watched the video and was astonished to find pictures of his secret wedding. O'Clee was charged and hauled into court where he was jailed this week by a judge. Jailed? Blimey. Deary me. So who's the... Which one is his favourite wife? Which one's he going to keep? Because he's seen leaving court...
With the second one?
With the second one.
Yeah, the first one dobbed him in, so I'd suggest that he's not a friend anymore. On Facebook. Maybe that was a mistake in the first place.
Michelle's gone. Michelle's disappeared. O'Clee and Michelle used to live in Ealing, West London, and their landlord became so suspicious of his comings and goings he hired a private investigator. A landlord hired a private investigator? Maria's in Leighton Buzzard. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning.
What would you like to say, Maria?
I'm just very keen on bringing up something about the subject you were just talking about, using mobile phones while driving.
Yeah.
One of the biggest themes is my bugbear is seeing mums in their cars picking up their youngsters from school on their mobile phones. And they just can't believe, I just can't believe the fact that they can't just take the time to stay parked in their car for a while to use the car before they start driving. I've had a woman give me the middle finger when I've tried to put it out to her that she's got her children in the back of the car and she's on her mobile phone.
Yeah.
If the accident was to happen to her, okay, but not the innocence of the children in the car and also the other victim that has to then cope with the accident that's
Maria,
by her.
Maria, look at me in the eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Now look me in the eyes.
Yes.
Are you telling me you have never used your mobile phone whilst driving?
Never.
Never?
Never.
You've never had an important phone call about work or a pair of shoes?
No, that's what a text is for, and that's what a voicemail is for.
Have you ever sent a text whilst driving?
No.
Have you ever read a text whilst driving?
No. You can always...
Check your emails?
You can always put... No.
Updated your Facebook status?
No.
Read a book?
I knew you were going to do this.
Yeah.
My partner said don't challenge Iain on this.
No, well, I'm just...
The other thing that I'd like to say is...
Very nicely swerved.
We've got all this technology in vehicles now. Why can't something be made that an alarm comes on for when somebody puts on their mobile phone?
Because no one would buy that car. That's the reason, isn't it? Yeah, it's a sensible idea, but no one would buy that car, would they?
Oh.
It's like, why, you know, why...
I mean, there's trackers on cars to stop people from going places. Why can't there be a track-in? I mean, they do the PNC checks in the police cars for all the cars and vehicles that are
They do those boxes, don't they? They do those boxes for insurance companies that monitor your driving and your turning and your speed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something, I'm sure the technology exists.
I'm sure it does. Even if it just made the phone not work.
These mums you see using their mobile phones, are they driving those big tractors?
Yeah.
I've never really had a problem with those cars until my boys started going to school.
Yeah.
And you got tiny little mums driving these massive 4x4s in town, and you do that. They're so ridiculously
And if any of those mums have been to John Lewis or somewhere, I know there's many shops that you can go and buy from, but if you went to a shop and they bought a new porcelain dinner service or something like that in the back of the car, they would drive more carefully with that in the back than they would their children sometimes.
Maria, an excellent call. Thank you very much for being a good sport.
Okay,
Ta-ta, bye-bye.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy on the A1 southbound from St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. In Luton on Hatters Way, it's very busy between Dunstable Road and Chorlend Lane. And in High Wycombe, the A40 London Road is slow in both directions. On the trains, there are 45-minute delays on London Midland services between Tring and London Euston. And also, the southern trains are suspended at the moment between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. It's all because of a signalling problem at Wembley Central. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Right, it's 8:16. It's Friday the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Ed Miliband has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to go into coalition. And nearly 1 in 5 children have missed out on their first choice of primary school in Hertfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
As the general election gets closer, we want to know what you really think.
Sometimes it gets a bit boring, I think.
But we kind of feel like nothing changes.
Parliament really needs a good shake-up.
We're holding a number of debates across Beds, Herts and Bucks, focusing on the biggest issues.
The national health, I think that's a big concern at the moment.
Immigration, probably.
I think education, more than anything.
If you'd like to take part and have your say, you can register your interest right now. Email 3cr@bbc.co.uk or call 08459 455 555.
I always do the vote because I think it's my right to vote.
Election 2015 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, not being funny, Mia. What are you doing back here? We told you earlier. We told you earlier that you can't stick around. But now you've come back. What do you want? Out, Kelly, would you escort her off the premises, please? Please. I'm expecting more from you, Mia's dad. Out. Out. Stop laughing. Out. Out. So sorry, Jonathan. Out.
Thank you.
Don't suck up to him. Out. I heard that. He didn't say that to me.
Did he?
If you missed that, I think it was probably on mic. Mia's dad leant over to Jonathan and went, "I like your show, by the way." Well, how did she get back in this building?
No, but she's going to wait until Jonathan goes to her and then she'll be back in.
Oh,
hilarious.
Dear, I like your show, by the way. Not this rubbish. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Ian Lee.
What's on your show this morning?
This morning we're continuing the mobile phone behind the wheel.
Oh yeah, go on.
Today from 9.
Yes.
The question I'm going to ask is, what should the punishment be for using a mobile behind the wheel? Fewer people are being prosecuted for using their mobile phone behind the wheel, as more and more guilty drivers are sent on educational courses instead. The number of drivers given points for mobile phone use dropped by nearly a quarter from 2013 to 2014, the steepest drop in 5 years. Lead officer for roads policing, Suzette Davenport, says that she'd like any driver caught using a mobile phone more than once to face disqualification. But in reality, with more and more drivers avoiding points and fines in favour of 4-hour-long educational classes, we seem to be getting softer on people who use their mobile phones whilst behind the wheel. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction to this. What should the punishment be for using a mobile behind the wheel? Have you had many people this morning who have admitted they do it?
No one has admitted that they do it. If we catch them...
Well, in that case, there's a lot of liars.
Yeah, there are.
Because I see it all the time.
Yep.
And I'd imagine there are huge numbers of people listening.
You're in your car now. Look left, look right, look down. You will see someone using their mobile phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can always tell when you're behind someone who's on their mobile phone, when their car is either going too slow or
it's a bit wobbly.
There's a slight movement of it, and you think, right, when I get next to you, I'm just going to glance through the passenger window, and I'm going to look, oh, there you are, gazing down at something fascinating between your legs. I bet it's your phone. Well,
I hope it's your phone.
Exactly. Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like to know what you think the punishment should be for using a mobile behind the wheel. It's quite interesting. The kind of lead on this issue in the police force has said that she feels as if we're going to lose the battle unless things can be ramped up, unless there is a decent punishment. We are going to lose the battle.
You have to compare it to drink driving, and drink driving for decades was kind of acceptable. You know, it wasn't kind of, it was acceptable. You go out and have, it was a done thing. You go out and people would drive with quite a lot of alcohol in them, and then, I don't know, late 70s, the tide started turning, and it's taken a long time for it to become, for people who drink drive to become the pariahs that they deserve to be,
Well, it would be interesting to see how we're going to deal with this problem. But what should the punishment be for using a mobile behind the wheel? I'd love your call from 9 on 08459 455 555.
One question.
Yes.
When you said this yesterday, what did you mean?
Can't sex sometimes just be about bish, bash, bosh, let's get on with the grouting? Well, just that. Just that. There's all these people yesterday on my show talking about how, sex has got to be all about love and got to be all about spirituality and, let's run round the garden first naked and read poetry and then we'll make love for 14 hours. Surely sometimes in a relationship, sex can be about let's get this done. We've got to do the grouting.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I mean, how important is grouting?
Well, this talk of grouting has got me feeling very fruity. Yesterday, we brought you the story of a massive hole that's developed in the garden of a block of flats in Watford. Justin Dealey was going to toss something down there. He bottled it this morning. Residents living there have covered up the hole up with deck furniture as a temporary measure. But the question is now, who's going to pay to fix it? Well, earlier we heard from the freeholders. They own the land and they said, well, there's not really anything to do with us, Governor.
No, they said that the residents, the management association, are the ones that deal with the grounds.
The residents need to sort it out, but hopefully the freeholder company insurance will cover it. And he sounded like a very nice fellow, and we're going to speak to him next week and find out what the insurance said. My thoughts on the insurance company? They won't touch it. They won't touch it.
Well, the difference is, he thinks it might be some sort of sinkhole or a drop hole or something like that. It's got bricks on it. It's a well, isn't it?
I can't believe that's not on the deeds. Well, I mean, he said it's not, so I do believe it's not on the deeds.
Someone's turfed over it in the past.
Yeah. I don't think the insurance company are going to touch that with a bar. Nothing to do with us, Governor. And I said this yesterday, and I say this now on air. We'll be talking about that hole not being filled in 2 years from now. That hole will still be there.
Or the residents will get fed up and do something about it.
Yeah. Well, why don't they just chuck all the furniture down it instead of over the top of it? That's one solution. Anthony Essian is Chief Executive of the Leasehold Advisory Service. Morning, Anthony.
Good morning,
I've
Iain.
had cause to use your service in the past. May I say, keep up the excellent work.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
For those who don't know, freehold and leasehold, can you explain in kind of simplistic terms the difference and what the roles are?
I'll give it my best shot. Imagine in your mind's eye, I suppose, two detached houses next to each other.
Yeah.
We look at the front doors of both. House A on the house on the left, house on the right. House on the left is freehold. House on the right is leasehold. To look at them, no difference. The difference is in the name of the tenure, freehold. With freehold, essentially, you own the property outright. That includes the land on which it sits. With leasehold, the house on the right, it's not the same thing.
No.
What you have, essentially, is like renting a property, the right to exclusive possession, the right to use it and to occupy it for a number of years. When it comes to owning leasehold property, owning flats, for example, that tends to be leases of 99 years, 125 and 999. And I suppose fundamentally that's what makes it mortgageable and gives the impression absolutely of ownership. Leasehold is used very commonly for flats because it's a mutual relationship between the people who live there. You're side by side, underneath, other people, etc. And unfortunately with freehold, the obligations that arise from freehold can't be enforced very easily against the people who subsequently purchase it.
Right.
That doesn't apply in leasehold. And if you imagine a leasehold block of flats where you couldn't enforce repairing obligations between neighbours, it'd be pretty perilous. That's why our system has leasehold in flats generally rather than freehold.
You've seen the photos of this hole in the from our Facebook page. It looks man-made. It looks like a well. Who's responsible, the freeholders or the people who live in the flats?
Well, one thing I haven't mentioned so far is the lease itself. It's the lease that makes it the fundamental determinant of who does what and who's responsible for what. I don't know what the lease says. It sounds like the chap that you spoke to earlier, the managing director, has had a sense of the lease and what it says the residence management company is responsible for and what the freeholder is responsible for. That's where they'd have to look, really.
It's such a complicated thing, isn't it? But management companies, how do management companies work? What's their responsibility?
Are you talking about the residence management company?
Oh, blimey! So would there be a residents association, which would be like a sort of committee that the residents have set up themselves?
You can have that, but that's not something that applies automatically. Right. This situation sort of sounds like to me you've got the freeholders.
Yeah.
You've got lessees of individual flats, but another party to the lease sounds like a management company that the lessees are all members of.
Yeah.
Now, in that typical scenario, it's the management company that the lessees are members of that has the responsibility under the lease to repair, maintain the building, upkeep of the gardens and that kind of thing. But how it falls in this particular case, I don't want to bore you, depends on the particulars of this lease, and that's what I'm sure the lessees, the freeholder, have been looking at to see where responsibility lies.
Anthony, you've explained that brilliantly. Thank you very much indeed. Anthony Essian, Chief Executive of the Leasehold Advisory Service. Henry Pryor, property expert based in Hertfordshire. Who do you think's responsible, Henry? This is quite an unusual situation, I think.
It is indeed, Ian. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I think Anthony did a fantastic job explaining the complications of different tenures. We talk about freeholds and leases day to day on 3 counties. When we're talking about leases, we tend to be talking about what are called assured short-hold leases. That's just for a year or possibly 3 years. But this is a complicated situation. You may recall the sinkhole that opened up in Hemel Hempstead last year, and indeed a large one in High Wycombe earlier on last year. I suspect, looking at your Facebook page and the photographs on it, that this is not going to turn out to be a geological phenomenon.
No.
It looks brick-lined, and I agree with you. I think it's man-made. It's going to be one of those things that was covered up in the mists of time. And it wouldn't surprise me to find that it's not actually mentioned in the legal documentation.
Tell me why, because I would have assumed that something as big as that, if we assume that it is man-made, would have had to have been on the deed somewhere.
Well, we live in an era, sadly, and we live in an era, don't we, of where there's blame, there's a claim, and we all assume that somebody somewhere must be responsible for it, and if they're not, then they've dropped the ball, and we should be able to come after them. In reality, because human beings are fallible, I suspect that what may well have happened is that this wellhead was covered over whilst there was some landscaping going on before the block of flats was built. At that time, somebody then came round and started drawing up the legal documents. As Anthony explained, first of all, there'll be a lease from the freeholder to the head lessee. That could be the management company. And then there will be subsequent leases that trickle down between the management company and the individual residents in the flats on this site. My guess is, and I don't want to cast aspersions, but I suspect that you may well be very right, as usually, and I think we may find ourselves revisiting this over the weeks and months to come, because as we again have discussed on your programme when we were talking about fracking, rather controversially this time last year, do you remember?
Yes,
we talked about fracking and who owns what. Although you may think you own your home, you don't in fact usually own the ground under it, or indeed the air space over it. So, as a result, it may turn out, contrary to what the managing director was saying, that the freeholder still owns and is responsible for what is under the surface of the property, and that may well be, depending on the size of the bill, what the insurance company and the residents will argue.
Yeah, it's going. Things like this always they start off with everyone being very polite and very nice, but they tend to get messier and messier. Have you ever come across a mysterious well opening up in someone's back garden before, Henry?
Yeah, I have, fun enough. I mean, I live on the east side of Stevenage, and as with a lot of properties, not just rural properties but also urban properties, before we had mains water, everybody lived off well supplies. I've got 2 in my garden.
Oh.
So it's not that uncommon. What's much more worrying, much more concerning for people, as we discussed last year, are these geological phenomenon, sinkholes and the like, that open up to everyone's surprise.
Henry, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy on the M1 northbound between junction 13 for Bedford and 14 for Milton Keynes, and the A1 southbound's looking very slow from the Holiday Inn towards Stirling Corner. On the North Orbital Road, that's very slow around the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and having a look at the speed sensors in High Wycombe, the A40 London Road is looking very slow in both directions. On the trains, London Midland are saying they have possible delays and for 45 minutes because of the signal failure at Wembley Central, so that's affecting the London Midland trains between Tring and London Euston, and southern services between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm Simon Oxley. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Meanwhile, a police officer has been assaulted by a driver he was trying to give a speeding ticket to in High Wycombe. The Labour leader, Ed Miliband, has rejected an offer from the SNP's Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to work together. And Hertfordshire County Council say 95% of children have been allocated a place at one of their preferred schools, but nearly 1 in 5 missed out on their first choice.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England need 8 wickets on the final day to win the first test in Antigua. The West Indies will resume on 98 for 2, chasing an unlikely 438 to win. Former England opener Geoffrey Boycott says an English victory is not guaranteed.
Although England have a goodish chance of winning, it's not for certain on this sort of surface. I've seen people before bat all day, me included.
Practice starts at midday, our time for Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix, with Hertfordshire's Lewis Hamilton looking to follow up last weekend's win in China. In football, Watford continue their Championship promotion challenge at home to Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow. Tonight, second place Norwich hosts fourth place Middlesbrough. In League One, Milton Keynes Dons host Leyton Orient. Second place Preston, just 3 points ahead of the Dons, are at Port Vale tonight. In League Two, third place Wycombe travel to Wimbledon tomorrow. Here's manager Gareth Ainsworth.
It's now getting back down to earth quickly. We've got 3 huge games coming up, starting with Wimbledon on Saturday, and picking up a couple of injuries wasn't great on Tuesday night, so we'll be getting those reassessed.
Stevenage are away to Accrington, and Luton, who are outside the playoff places, host struggling Hartlepool. Manager John Still will be without striker Paul Benson after they lost the appeal against his midweek red card.
You know, let's hope that we can sort of get something from Saturday that can take us to the next game. We don't know that yet. Let's do that and see where we go. It might lead to an unbelievably exciting last game of the season, but until that comes, we don't know.
And in Speedway, Rye House make the long trip to Plymouth in the League Cup tonight. They host Sheffield in the Premier League tomorrow evening. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm surprised Mia's not worked her way back into the studio.
She's biding her time.
Thing is, she's so tiny, she could be anywhere. I mean...
We'll just check.
Kelly, you're not sitting on Mia, are you?
Let me have a look. Hang on. No, not Mia. Someone else.
OK, well, they can stay. They can stay. Marlene's in Dunstable. Good morning, Marlene.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, Marlene?
Idiots on Phones.
Oh, yes. So great band.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a bad name for a band, is it? Idiots on Phones.
Somebody followed me all the way from Hotcliffe, down the Thorn Turn on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Then I kept putting my hand over my ear, gesticulating to him, get off the phone.
Yes.
And then his conversation obviously came very animated.
Yeah.
Phone on one ear, hand waving about on the other. And the trouble was, then I became dangerous because I was taking more notice of him at the back behind me than what was going on. And that happened all the way into Pointers Road.
Really? What? Well, then what are you... The thing is, though, Marlene, you shouldn't have let him distract you. You should have focused... You should have thought, he's an idiot, I'm going to focus on the road.
Yeah, but when you've got an idiot behind you, you can't help it.
Well, that's the thing. Well, my driving...
Mind you, I am elderly, so that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
You shouldn't be allowed to drive.
That's not nice, Ian.
Take your driving licence away, Marlene.
That's not nice, Ian.
Take your
nice
you've got a bus pass. Use that. Have you got a mobile phone, Marlene?
I have.
Have you ever used it whilst driving?
Never, ever, ever.
Look me in the eyes, Marlene.
I'm looking you in the eye with my wonky eye. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that one.
It's wonky-eyed Marlene. What is it? One eye's going to the shop, the other one's coming back with the change. Now,
that's right.
Have you ever sent a text whilst driving?
Definitely not. No.
Ever read? You're driving back from the co-op, and you've got your shopping, and your phone's on the passenger seat. You get a beep beep, which means someone sent you a text. Come on, Marlene, you're telling me you've never, while you're driving, picked up the phone out. Oh, it's a text from Steve. Oh, he wants dinner tonight.
How did you know my son's name?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the gift, Marlene. You're a good sport as ever.
Special powers.
Really angry, very angry tweet from Scott, and I've got to take out 1, 2, 3 swear words.
Oh, my goodness.
That bloke had 2 flipping wells in his garden. They're talking about Henry Pryor. And you didn't ask if he'd ever fallen down one, you flipping idiot.
Clearly he's not, because he was talking to us on the phone.
Well, he could have got back out of them. You fall down a well. You get out of wells. Of course you get out of wells. You wouldn't get out of a well. You'd be scrabbling like a little puppy trying to open a door.
Who, me?
Yeah, that's it. That's why I'm looking at you.
Yeah, but the listeners don't know that.
Right, so now we're going to be pointing that out every time.
Theatre of the mind.
You could be talking to the listener. And they'll be thinking, yeah, you're right, actually.
I'm worried to talk to the listener because Mia might turn up again.
Well, yeah.
I liked her.
I know you did, because she's taller than you, but only a little bit.
Yeah.
Only a little bit.
She's taller than me.
She's brilliant, Mia, but thank you so much for coming in. That's Bright Hour Morning. What have you got in the papers?
I was just looking at that fella that married 2 women. You're right, he's a very, very lucky man.
Because those women, they are hot. With a bit of makeup.
They must be, either he's a scintillating company or they're daft.
The one story, just quickly, just look at page 29 and just read the headline. You don't, then you can go back to your page. Just read the headline out loud. We don't need to investigate the story. Page 29
of the Sun. Naked man has sex with a tree.
That's all we need to know.
What that's about?
Let's go back to the story that you'd found, please. 08459 455 555. By the way, is the phone number.
People having a bet that Kate's having a baby.
Yeah, people have bet on being called Alice.
Yeah.
It's not going to call it Alice.
Alice isn't posh enough.
I like the name Alice. I think it's a great name. Alice is made up. No, Wendy's made up.
Yeah.
Wendy's made up, isn't it?
Yeah.
By Peter Pan. The man who did Peter Pan.
By Peter Pan, yeah.
Peter Pan. Wendy is How can you make up a name? But Wendy sounds like a name, doesn't it?
Sounds like Windy.
Yeah, I know it does. But it sounds like
Bendy.
a name.
Bendy.
But why would you? Can we? If we were to make up a name now, Wendy, because Wendy sounds like a name. You make up. Who's it who wrote Peter Pan? Lewis.
J.M. Barrie.
J.M. Barrie. So if you make up the name Wendy, and everyone goes, oh yeah, Wendy. You go, yeah, I've made that up. No, I've heard that before. Have you made that up? Oh, it sounds like a name.
Can't tell these days because everyone's making names
But
up.
if I was to make up a name,
Go on.
Clampod.
That doesn't sound like a name, though.
It doesn't sound like a name, does it?
From this planet, anyway.
Prodling.
Prodling? Again, not many ING names. What about...
Flam-based. Doesn't sound like a name, does it? Doesn't sound like a name. But Wendy sounds like... Do you know, I'm really struggling to express this because my mind isn't quite working as I like it to work today.
Crathlin.
See, that
could be a name.
No.
Crathlin.
No, mate. It just sounds a bit like your name.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just... All right, Pian. Smelly. You know, it just sounds... Wendy sounds like... Did you know the name Wendy was made up, Kelly?
Sorry?
There we go. Don't apologise.
She had no idea.
Wendy's a made-up name.
Yes, from Wendy House.
No, but actually,
letter.
No, but she's half right.
No, she's
it's the other way around.
What?
Wendy House is because of Wendy and Peter Pan.
Yeah, but
because they built her a house in the woods, didn't they? Because they didn't want to live with the boys.
So it's not from Wendy House, though?
No, it's from Wendy, though.
OK. Chris, have you ever made up a name?
Only CB names. We talked about that before. The Penguin.
The Penguin, you see? OK.
The Penguin.
Imagine making up the name Wendy. How cool would that be?
That was my first girlfriend's name, Wendy. You took me.
Monday. Sorry.
Hey,
Monday.
you know what my first boyfriend's name was, Chris?
Go on.
Sorry?
Chris.
Was it what?
Chris.
Wow.
What about what would you want with him?
No, I was saying that's my first boyfriend's name, so I mean it's special powers. Chris.
Yeah, no, what do you want to tell Chris?
Chris.
Tell him.
I'm sorry, it was all my fault.
What?
Okay, I forgive you.
By the way, guys, isn't there something magical about a first girlfriend and first boyfriend's names? Let's do it. Let's do it. Kelly, first boyfriend's name. Oh, she's on the phone. First boyfriend's name?
Wait, what, Ian?
It's called what, Ian?
What, Ian?
What did you say? I'm on the phone to Ben in Wickham.
Oh, morning, Ben. Your first boyfriend's name.
Oh, I can't remember.
What?
Me?
What?
I think it was Chris.
What was your first boyfriend's name?
Thank you, Chris. My first girlfriend's name was Kerry. And doesn't the first name of our boyfriend and girlfriend take us back to a magic... If you want to phone up and just say your first boyfriend's girlfriend's name and then put the phone down, 08459 455
With Chris, I hated his guts for quite a long time.
Yeah, while you're going out with him?
It's a sign, isn't it? No, before.
Yeah.
Then I liked him.
Yeah. Oh, Kerry. Kerry. Chris!
Hi.
What are you driving and
talking? I'm driving. I'm on hands free. When I rang in before and spoke to Kels, I was just.
No, you spoke to me. Never mind, Chris.
Oh, did I?
You forgot me so quickly.
Sorry.
It's part of the problem. That's why we're not together anymore.
I'm just north of London now, just coming down to Scratchwood. But when I spoke before, we were on about the truckers and so on their phones.
Yeah.
I was all the way from Flitwick to the Junction 13 by a lorry driver on the phone in a flatbed lorry.
Yeah.
And I've got company. Should we name and shame or not?
No, don't know. Let's not name and shame.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, you know what? Professional drivers like that, there should be a very severe penalty for them using their phones. It's their livelihoods. You know better, surely.
Well, you would think they would know better, and yes, to the lot of them. Thank you very much indeed, Chris. Ben's in Wickham. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, sir. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Have you got a beard?
Terrific. Eh?
Have you got a beard?
Not at the moment, no.
Moustache?
Yes.
Yeah, you sound... I can hear the moustache.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's got some of last night's supper on it.
Yours is quite a big moustache as well, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh, sir.
What, like a little Hitler
it's
one?
It's under my nose,
would
you believe?
Are you a spiv?
No.
Are you smoking a rollie, trying to sell dodgy tyres?
Well, I've done a bit of that in the past,
Good
yeah.
lad, haven't we all? What have you got for us, Ben?
I was in the kitchen last Saturday. The accent is on your 4-year-olds in your programmes these last 2 days, when my 4-year-old great-granddaughter came in and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm slicing some buns so I can toast them for your tea."
Beautiful.
"Can I do them?" And I said, "No, it's a sharp knife," and Nanny just bought it. With that, I put the knife across the end of my thumb. With a sharp intake of breath, she said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "I've cut my finger." And she looked at me in total disdain, walked towards the kitchen door, turned around and said to me, "You should have had an adult with you."
Hey! You were pwned by a 4-year-old.
Absolutely.
Ben, what's the name of your first girlfriend, please?
Susan.
There we go. He had to stretch back, but he did. Well, he had to stretch back with Susan. Mark's on the line. Morning, Mark.
Morning.
What you got for us, boss?
Regarding heavy goods and phones.
Yes.
The driver's already faced £1,000 and 6 points.
What? Say that again.
Heavy goods drivers already face £1,000 fine and 6 points.
If they get caught driving with while they're on their phone?
That's correct.
Oi! Then why do so many of them still do it?
But there's another thing.
Go on, Mark.
CBs.
Yes.
They come under a different rule altogether because the police use that particular type of communication.
Yeah.
And Fox services are exempt.
Oh, so you can go on the CB radio and be the Penguin?
Yeah.
But you can't go on the telephone?
That's correct.
Mark, name me your first girlfriend, please.
Oh, Christ, I couldn't...
Christ, gosh, he goes back a long way. Thank you, Mark. How can no one remember the name of their first boyfriend or girlfriend?
We're talking about your proper one.
Talk about proper love, not
at school.
You know when you're 7 and you're holding hands with Joanne.
That was Dean Bottomley.
Joanne Laws.
Yeah.
Oh, I had such a crush on Joanne
Dean
Laws.
Bottomley.
Joanne Laws. Everyone had a crush on her about the age of 8, 9, and then she was the first person in our school whose parents got divorced, and then they got remarried, so she had a different surname. She became Joanne Hill. And we had a big talk about it, you know. We were talking. Everyone had a crush. She was so beautiful, and she got in touch with me. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago on, I guess, MySpace or something. And she just said, "Oh, all right, Ian. I see you on the telly. Just, I've not spoken to her since I was about 10. She moved away." It was like, flipping heck. And I wrote back saying, "John, it's so nice to hear from you. I'm really glad to hear you're doing well. I've got to say, I had such a crush on you at school." Never heard from her ever again. That was the end of that. That was the end of that.
What did she think that...
that was
it's nice to hear that, isn't it? Once you've got a bit of distance.
Oh, maybe she thought I was...
cracking on.
Mr. Lover. Oh.
Well, then you laugh it off and say thanks very much, and that's the end, isn't it?
I was chancing my arm. You never know. You still don't know the name of your first boyfriend?
I think it was Craig.
Craig.
No,
Craig.
we were really young.
No, we mean proper boyfriend.
What define proper?
Proper.
Just proper love, and going out with each other for more than 2 weeks.
What, real, actual love?
Yeah.
17.
He was called 17. We'll come back to her later on when she. Let's let her think in that room on her own for a little bit. She's really. You're right, love.
Yeah.
Is she crying?
Yeah.
Good.
About 17.
She should be.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 has queues northbound between junctions 13 for Bedford and 14 for Milton Keynes. It's looking very slow. In Dunstable on the A5 High Street North, that's very busy around West Street. And in High Wycombe, the A40 London Road is busy in both directions. In Bournemouth on the A1 southbound, there are queues between the Holiday Inn and Stirling Corner. And in Watford on Chalk Hill, that's looking very busy around the Bushy Arches. On the trains, there are still problems with 7 trains suspended between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush because of a signalling problem at Wembley Central. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. Right, it's 8:45. It's Friday the 17th of April. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. Meanwhile, a police officer has been assaulted by a driver he was trying to give a speeding ticket to in High Wycombe, because Ed Miliband, other towns are available, has rejected a direct offer from the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon for their parties to work together. We're going to humiliate Dealey in a bit. Before that, here's the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, good morning. It's going to feel a bit chillier today than it did yesterday. We'll see some good spells of sunshine, but the air's slightly cooler, slightly drier, and we've also got a strengthening easterly breeze as well, that air coming in off the North Sea. So in exposure to that wind, it will feel mighty chilly at times, but, you know, nice and warm in the sunshine, and there'll certainly be lots of warm, sunny spells around as we head through the rest of the day. Just a chance over eastern areas of Hertfordshire in particular that you might just catch a few spots of rain falling from the thickness of the cloud, but that's all it will be generally, and most places are going to stay dry. Now, afternoon temperatures not as high as yesterday, but still 12 or 13 degrees, that's 55 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, some evening sunshine and then clear spells for the most part. We'll see it stay dry. The wind is going to keep any frost at bay. It'll still be quite breezy through tonight and breezy into tomorrow as well, but lots of sunshine around tomorrow. Dry for the whole weekend. Temperatures around average for the time of year, sort of 13, perhaps 14 degrees. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday, but Sunday is going to be a cloudy day. Still dry though, and staying dry into next week. That's the forecast.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tip-top etiquette expert William Hanson, who is not a fan of politicians oversharing.
Oh, good afternoon, Roberto. I feel slightly nauseous for that music.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk to Harriet Harman, the leader of the Labour Party.
We've been in Bedford and Cambridge, and we've had very interesting discussions.
Let's talk cold callers. Do you have a tried and tested method of getting rid of cold callers?
You've got to make up a word before you go on the phone, and so you can fit that word in without them realising the most time.
Saying actually helps you feel calmer. Do you believe this, Sharon?
Definitely. And since I read that, I've been doing it and I'm well chilled.
Roberto Perroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Anyone else not give a stuff about the pictures from the new Star Wars trailer?
Didn't even know there was one.
Yeah. Fans thrilled as new Star Wars trailer offers clues to The Force Awakens. When's it coming out? I bet it's not coming out for like 2 years.
May the 4th. That's normally when they'll do it.
Yeah, they do it, and then May the 4th be with you. Clever, they do that.
Yeah.
No, December the 18th.
What's that got to do with anything?
December the 18th be with you.
The new ones are rubbish. Just leave them alone.
Well,
leave them alone.
Fair play. J.J. Abrams is doing these. He did the Star Trek reboots, and I only saw the first one. The first Star Trek film was brilliant.
Okay.
It was proper brilliant. It was awesome. This, I'm not sure if it'll be awesome or not.
It's got old Harrison Ford.
It's got old Harrison Ford in it. It's got all the Star Wars characters from the original movies will be in there. Harrison Ford, Princess Leia, and Mark Hamill playing.
Why are you doing Jonathan Ross?
He'll have some good set pieces, some witty dialogue, and
a lot of fun for all the family.
2 thumbs up.
Here we go. Puff and nonsense. The backlash begins. It began with me. E-cigs don't help smokers quit the fags. Electronic cigarette smokers are more likely to keep their tobacco habit than those who don't use them, research shows. The e-cig users, known as vapists...
By you.
Leave them alone.
Sorry?
Leave them alone.
The bullies that attack me. This clip will get posted on an internet forum for vapists, and I will get loads of abuse in about a week's time from some American idiots who are, you are vapists and you present vapist radio shows.
Listen, they're trying to give up smoking.
No,
they're trying to do the right thing.
This is what this story is saying, Justin. They're not.
But what they are is a little bit arrogant.
They're a lot arrogant. They're larrogant. The e-cig users, known as vapists, are 59% less likely to quit the real stuff than smokers who've never used the battery-operated products. And they're 49% less likely to cut back on cigarettes. So half of vapists still smoke the same amount of cigarettes. They're G's for P's, gluttons for punishment.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Because you said when this first started that it normalises addiction because they can just be addicted for longer.
Yeah, exactly,
Although
guys.
we don't know about the health thing.
No, we don't know.
So sure, it's safer.
And it's coming out. It's coming out. I'm so tempted to unblock all of those vapist idiots on Twitter. Justin, speaking of idiots.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, boss. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you, sir.
You've been busy this morning?
Yes, I've been looking at holes.
Very busy. You've been very busy.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Leave it.
Good morning, sir.
Stop it.
Good morning, sir.
Hey.
Tasty.
Yes.
Voices from the streets.
Voices from the street. I need to tidy these up.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now, you came up with... What was this nonsense you came up with, Catherine?
Which hole...
Holes that make you go, wow.
...took your breath away?
That's actually quite a good one. Holes that make you go, wow. Which holes take you... We've had one phone call on it, Just.
Great call, though.
It was the hole in polos.
Yeah, I would say the call of the morning. Exactly why this phone-in has worked.
His call-in was... What he didn't realise was he was calling in on another subject we've not thrown out yet.
Old tweets.
No. What did you spend your first paycheck on?
Oh, that is a good one.
That is a good one, isn't it? That is a good one. We'll be doing that next week. And
next week.
He'll be doing that on Monday. He anticipated that. He wasn't calling in about holes that make you go, wow. Holes that make you go, wow. He was calling about what you spent your first paycheck on.
I liked his story. Good old Horace.
Oh.
Good guy.
Wait, well, Dealey.
Yeah.
I see you've got 1 minute 59 of audio in. Have you padded that out by putting... Is the music on the beginning of this?
No.
Okay.
I don't get your beef with this phone-in.
It's rubbish, mate. What did you did this on Twitter last night? First of all, don't road test material for this show on the internet. What responses did he get on Twitter, Catherine?
Rude ones.
Yeah, what did Scott say? The hole that's taking your breath away.
Have a little guess.
He said your bum.
Yes. So I've taken this to the streets this morning. I'm live in Kings Langley right now.
Home of the hole.
Well, not quite.
No, we're a little bit. You moved away from there.
The hole is in Leavesden, and I was there this week. This 20-foot hole in a communal garden. When I got there, I looked down the hole. It took my breath away.
And then you didn't dare look down the hole this morning.
Well, the hole's been covered again by the local residents. I'm not going to take the wood away.
You said this morning before you left, I'm going to take the wood away. Yeah, geez.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, geez.
Okay, boss. Whose name's above the door? Is it yours or is it mine?
It's my name.
It's your name. Okay. I remove the wood. I remove the wood. Put it back.
Yeah.
Don't put it back properly, even though I think I have done. A child falls down the well later on and injures themselves. If not worse, your name's above the door.
Simple solution. Put the wood back properly. Do you notice everything about this story, right, Catherine? Yeah. And this is, I think, we're lucky it's not as bad as the curse of Tutankhamun, where everyone went mad or killed themselves. That actually happened. The curse of this is everybody is passing the buck. Nothing to do with me, Governor. I'm not taking responsibility for it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that hole took my breath away. Got me thinking, which hole has taken your breath away? I'm on the streets of Kings Langley, and this is why this has worked this morning. People have got some very interesting stories. Take a listen. It's a great hole.
Is that it?
No.
Tee it up again.
I'm in Kings Langley this morning talking about holes which have taken your breath away, inspired by the hole in Leavesden. Here's what happened. It's a great hole.
Is that it?
Come on.
Tee
play it.
Tee it up again. Go on.
OK, so I'm in Kings Langley talking about which hole has taken your breath away, inspired by the 20-foot hole in Leavesden, which took mine away. Here's what people had to say. It's a great hole.
Is that it?
No.
Oh, hang on. I can't get it to work. Here we go.
Joan, here we are on the streets of Kings Langley this morning. The hole which took your breath away was when you had your ears pierced. How old were you?
18.
Describe the pain.
Well, it was... You just gasp, you know.
Yeah. Just took your breath away, just like that.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Was it like a...
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, OK. Love.
We're gonna break this down, Justin.
Yep.
That hole didn't take her breath away. That was what injury have you foisted upon yourself that hurt you?
Incredible.
I will tell you what each of these people are what their phoning is. That one is, what injuries have you... when have you paid someone to hurt you? That's what she's calling in about there.
Fair enough, OK.
Should we carry on?
Yeah.
Here we go.
The earrings, by the way. Thank you very much indeed. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
It's a great hole. Pete, tell me about the hole which has taken your breath away.
Well, the one that comes to mind is the 17th at St Andrews in Scotland. It's quite a tight dog leg, and your drive's got to go over the corner of a hotel.
Catherine, that's
where have you been on your golfing holiday?
Guys?
Let's carry on.
Yeah.
And you got to, if you don't land on the fairway, if you go slightly left, you're in all the rough.
And how'd you play golf?
So when you saw that, you thought, wow, it quite literally just, it took your breath away.
And your second shot's even more difficult, because if you go over the hole, you go out of bounds on a road up against a flint wall.
Can you still talk about golf?
Yeah.
What's the longest you can talk about golf? Golf for? Call me now.
Horrible bunkers round the hole as well, so it's very difficult, I think.
What's another name for a sandpit?
Other uses for sand? Call me now.
It's a good point, well made, and well explained as well. Thanks for your time.
Okay. So far, Justin, the two voices have not spoken about holes that make you go, wow.
Well, they have. Oh, they have.
That's right, Empire.
Ray, which hole has taken your breath away?
Courtney Love.
Now, come on. Which four-letter bands do you like?
Do you love her?
I do.
Thank you very much.
He has no idea who she is.
OK, let's go. We've got another 43 seconds of this.
Thank you.
Oh, Brian. Oh, Brian. This is the Holy Grail. Traffic, hole in my shoe. It took your breath away. What's your memories of listening to that?
It made you think about it, yeah. What was it?
This is, can you give me a quick one for my musical moments for what the weekend?
Nope.
This is two birds, one stone.
About. You know, you listen to it to find out what it was about. You know.
This is what holes have made your teeth go away.
I can sing it now, but I'm not going to.
Oh, go on, please, go on, sing it.
No, I remember bits of it.
Hole in my shoe.
No, I can't sing. My mouth's all dry at the moment.
Your mouth's dry?
Yeah.
Are you a pro?
A what?
A pro?
What's a pro?
What, a professional? You're saying your mouth's dry. Are you a former singer? Or?
No.
Traffic, hole in my shoe. Took your breath away when you first heard it. You wondered, what on earth is that all about?
That hole in a
for
shoe.
me, is perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much.
Justin.
Guys.
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 What was that all about?
I've delivered you with the goods once again. I've delivered you with 4 stories. You came up with
delivered you
one.
with the goods. What does that even mean?
You asked me to go on the streets and ask people about holes which took their breath away.
I didn't ask you to. You insisted. You insisted.
You wanted it.
That.
I gave it to you. You thought nobody would have any stories.
They didn't.
I would come on here and be humiliated. I've given you 4 of the very best, the creme de la creme.
The only 4.
The creme de la creme of holes.
Yes.
Justin,
guys,
could you sing to us?
When a man loves a woman.
Thank you very much indeed, Justin. Well, isn't that wonderful? JVS hasn't heard that before, look. Isn't that wonderful? That's it. We kind of petered out the last 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, really. But you guys should have been listening to the first hour.
That was special.
Podcast will be out a little bit later on, probably pop up in a couple of hours on the BBC Three Counties website. And then it tends to get onto iTunes sort of Friday afternoon, Friday evening, or thence about. Let's get the trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the M1 northbound from junction 13 for Bedford to 14 for Milton Keynes, and southbound it's looking very busy on the exit slip road at junction 14 for Milton Keynes. In Bedford, the A6 is very busy northbound between the A421 and Rope Walk, and in Dunstable, the A5 High Street is very slow around the Church Street junction. In Mill Hill, the A1 Watford Way is busy southbound between the Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. And on the trains, southern trains are suspended between Milton Keynes Central and Shepherd's Bush. That's because of a signalling problem at Wembley Central. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much, Samantha.
Guys.
Hey, Dealey, come on, give us a break. That's it, that's your lot. Thank you very much, Kelly. Thank you, Justin.
Guys.
Catherine, we need to have a word after the show. I mean, seriously, this cannot continue. Podcast will be up soon on Monday. Oh, do tune in between 6 and 7. It's the secret hour. We're going to try and name it. Oh, and let's end with a little bit of this, shall we? Have a good weekend, everyone. Ta-ta.
When a man loves a woman.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Friday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, What should the punishment be for using a mobile behind the wheel? Fewer people are being prosecuted for using their mobile phone behind the wheel as more and more guilty drivers are sent on educational courses instead. The number of drivers given points for mobile phone use dropped by nearly a quarter from 2013 to 2014, the steepest drop in 5 years. Lead officer for roads policing, Suzette Devonport, says that she'd like any driver caught using a phone more than once to face disqualification. But in reality, with more and more drivers avoiding points and fines in favour of 4-hour-long educational courses, we are getting softer on people who use their phones whilst driving, it would appear. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on this today. What should the punishment be for using a mobile behind the wheel? Pick up that phone, come on and have your say on 08459 455 555.
This is the JVS Show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News. It's 9:01. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: sharp fall in drivers getting points for using a phone, Miliband rejects deal with the SNP, and police investigate Luton Road incidents last night.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The BBC has found there's been a sharp fall in the number of drivers receiving penalty points for using a mobile phone at the wheel. A Freedom of Information request to all forces has revealed a fall of nearly 25% last year, with more people being offered an awareness course. Mark Turner is Chief Executive of the Bedfordshire-based Road Victims Trust.
I don't think it's the police taking their off the ball. The police have got loads and loads of other things that they have to do, and they have to try and prioritise. We know that across 3 counties every year, Beds, Herts and Cambs, 90 people will be killed. They're not all, of course, as a result of mobile phones, but there is a significant number and a growing number of collisions that are occurring because people are using their phones.
Meanwhile, a police officer has been assaulted by a driver he was trying to give a speeding ticket to in High Wycombe. It happened at 11 p.m. on Wednesday night in Chestnut Avenue when the traffic policeman